Welcome to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Ain't another place that has got more bombast. Romp past your mom, dad's listening to Tomcats. Talking everything that make you sad. We don't want that. We're here to make you smile. Put your mind at ease. Peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves. This what we about. This some weeding now. We'll talk until we can't no more, and then we peacing out. Alright, let's go. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome in to the Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Robertsons, and we're back, baby.
We're here.
We are.
We're here.
I am Colton Robertson. I'm joined by my father, Justin Robertson. What's up, Pops?
Good evening.
Good evening. How was your day, Ben? Sunday fun day.
Sunday fun day. It's always a great day, buddy. Good. Chiefs got a dub.
Fuck yeah, they did.
Did some good work around the yard this weekend, so that's cool.
Love that.
That's prime. Middle-aged man action going on.
It's good stuff.
Fucking killed the front and backyard. I don't know if you've. At some point in my life, I started taking great pride in pulling into the driveway and seeing a good-looking fucking yard.
Yeah.
It's
nice.
Did something for me.
Yeah.
I got that from my dad, Eduardo. I think we've been over that.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. But good. How was your Sunday?
My Sunday was swell. Like you said, the Chiefs won, and that was good. And I'm focusing on the positive there.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've if you've been following us the last couple weeks here, you'll know that we've discovered Fliff and begun using.
Oh.
And I say using like a drug because it's what it feels like. Gambling is addicting.
Yeah,
addictive.
It is. It is. Obviously, it's nice that it's not our money.
Yes, it's not real. That's the only thing keeping me sane right now.
I feel like this is kind of
vote no on Prop 2. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I feel like when they were talking about marijuana as a gateway drug, Fliff is exactly what they were talking about.
Yeah,
yeah. Like they're going to give you the free $1 every day. You're going to get just a taste. Just see.
I've lost far more money than I've won, but every time I win, fuck, does it feel good?
Feels good. Feels good. And I don't know if it was the last pod we talked about it. It's why I shouldn't gamble for real.
Yeah,
is because it makes me mad when I lose.
Of course.
And it's not even real money.
Not even real money.
And it's only a fake $1.
Yeah.
Like to even take it a step further.
Well,
it's not even real, plus it's just $1.
It's not real, yeah.
You know.
And that's but that's kind of what's giving me hope for when it is legalized. Because even if I had 45 of the free $, I don't think I would go beyond what I'm betting now. I don't think I'd have the guts to do that.
I mean, maybe not. I mean, well, but I think that's where it is a little scary for those that are a little more predisposed to maybe like, hey, fuck it. It's free money. I'm going to build it up and I'm going to like, not saying he's predisposed, but my good buddy, my good friend, Jeremy, did great about building. Like I told him about the app like a day after I learned about it, and all of a sudden, like he was at $47 the other day.
Yeah,
and he did it just by not falling into the whole parlay thing. Because I think that's why I'm not a pro at gambling when I'm throwing together a bunch of fucking parlays.
I'm throwing ridiculous parlays.
Like, let's just see
there.
what this 50 cents will make me.
Yeah, exactly.
He built it up, and then he
tore it all down.
He's down to his last. He went up to like $47 on the app,
right?
Which is like just knocking on the door of being able to like cash out.
Yeah.
And then, he didn't get fancy with parlays. He stuck to the script, did, one game wagers, and it just didn't pay off for him.
Right.
He took the Chiefs to cover, which I think I influenced that a little bit, and I feel kind of bad about that because I really thought, okay, Chiefs are going to be motivated. They did the whole the Raiders did the Kermit Frog thing, Kermit the Frog situation, in training camp. Like, we're going to come smack these fuckers.
Right.
And, hey, we were there.
Yeah,
we had it until we didn't.
We were right there. But it didn't pan out for us, son. No, not indeed. Yeah, it was rough day for me. Rough day for me on the old parlay side of things. However, like you said, not real money, so
Right.
can't. It's not lingering.
I did okay. I actually did okay. I took Mahomes over on yardage and over on touchdowns, and that hit.
That was one parlay.
That was one. I just took
that's
two.
good.
I found that, like, let's just stick to...
Yeah, little by little. I do the same thing.
I feel dirty.
I made a mistake.
Would you? Oh, you took like a 7. There was like 8
well,
fucking leg parlay.
the mistake I did make is I had a 5-leg and a 4-leg. 4 of the 5 in my 5-leg hit, and 2 of the 4 in my 4-leg hit.
You're like, man, if I could just combine the good ones.
But that's the thing, is that the ones that I would have switched and probably should have switched logically, a little bit of a learning moment, I split my DeAndre Hopkins bets. Which was a mistake. I should have had them all in one parlay, and I would have switched Pat Mahomes over 1.5 touchdowns and D Hop anytime touchdown, and that would have hit a 5-for-5 parlay, and it would have paid out pretty good.
But it's only a learning moment if you learn.
Yeah.
Did you learn?
I did learn.
Good.
Now I will not split my DeAndre Hopkins bets. Now they're all going to the same fucking spot, baby. Next week, over on the touchdowns, over on the yards. Let's get it.
I mean, look, the Chiefs, it was kind of ugly. It's like every year. I mean, every week. I
would
like
say
the
that was
past
our
2
sexiest
years.
win yet, and that sucks.
Yeah, I'll take it. I mean, Mahomes threw well. I mean, the one interception, I know he's had interceptions every game this year. I mean, a few of those have been fluky. Today was a fluky one.
Yeah, it was, for sure.
But a dub's a dub. The defense is the fucking MVP in my mind.
Oh, dude, that goal line stand.
That was
after the pick. That was after, like, immediately coming off the pick was fucking outstanding.
It's so interesting. The power of the interim head coach, right?
Yeah.
Pierce took the interim job last year, and I don't know what kind of run they went on. I know during that they did beat the Chiefs because we were at that game on Christmas. And I remember Crosby was like, if he's not our head coach, I'm out.
Right.
Man, how things can change, right? Now they're 2-6
now.
And he could likely be a one-and-done coach. And I don't know that has anything to do with him as a coach or just that organization, man.
Right,
I mean, who wants to coach there?
No, I wouldn't. I can tell you that for fucking sure.
Yeah. I don't know. But
Vegas is a nightmare situation too.
So
like,
funny,
as a home, being a home team in Vegas.
Yeah. Because all the good fan bases, and I'm sure. I mean, even if they're not a good fan base, what's a better road trip to go watch football
than fucking
an away
Las
game
Vegas.
for to watch your team than Vegas?
Especially when gambling's been widely legalized and everybody's gotten their fucking taste. They're like, oh, let's go to Vegas. Let's do this. Yeah. But, yeah, we won. And I would argue it was our best looking win of the season, besides maybe the Ravens week 1. But and it still wasn't great.
No, but I mean, you don't. I don't know. You hear it so much, like you don't apologize for winning fucking games in the NFL.
No. Fuck no.
There'd be no apologies for that shit.
No, yeah, 7-0.
7-0, and now 14 straight. Because I think it was 13 straight going into this one, and our last loss was the Raiders at home.
Yeah. So we're eating right now, and I'm very, very happy about it. But we do have a good show.
We always have a good show. Come on.
We got a good show.
What we do?
We only got a couple segments this week. We're going to do Divisional Dons. We only have 3 divisions left. Those are the AFC North, the AFC South, and the NFC South. I'm very, very excited for that. And then we are also going to do a Top 5 Dead or Alive, and this week it is sitcoms.
Sitcoms, situational comedies.
Yeah, for those not fully integrated.
They've been around a while. You gotta catch up. You should start with the first one. First ever sitcom?
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever that was.
What if it was like I Love Lucy or something like that?
Yeah, like probably the 50s stuff.
You know, it would be great, and I know this is like out of nowhere now. Once we're done with them, it'd be cool to like go back and look at like because I know like several respected publications have like done top 100 sitcoms of all time, and somehow do a point system on.
Yeah, like combine the articles and
or like, just even pick one and be like, all right, where do mine stand?
Who had a technically better list? I get that. I like that.
You see what I'm going for.
There's no there's no such thing as objectivity here, though.
No, there's not.
It's completely subjective.
There's not.
No matter who you ask, even if it is a well-respected publication, obviously you're polling a lot of people probably at that point.
Perhaps
you're getting But it's just me and you here, and we're going to have a good time doing our top 5 sitcoms. But we are going to start with Divisional Dons. So I have the random number generator. We're going numbers 1 through 3. The AFC North.
Oh, a great, historic
all-time
fucking
division.
I love that division.
Yeah, Ravens, Steelers, Browns, Bengals. Actually, both of the northern divisions, NFC and AFC North, are like what I think of when I think fucking football. You know? Like that's some fucking football right there. And I think it's because it's defense heavy. Smash mouth traditionally. I think that's what I look for in football. You know what I kind of don't look... The last divisions I think about are actually the southern ones, which is all we have left.
Which we have both Southerns left.
AFC and NFC South are the last two.
Okay. I mean, I agree. Like, the North is... I mean, name a better... Mike Tomlin, like, name a better representation of the AFC North than, like... Well, even the Pittsburgh organization, really.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and it's so intrinsically tied to Mike Tomlin now that...
Yeah, I was...
one and the same.
There was something, and Griff was like, what? There was some sort of factoid thrown out there that they've had like 3 head coaches over the past 60 years or something like that.
God
50 plus years.
Yeah.
And, you know, fill in the blank on the years. It was a lot of fucking years, so don't hold me to it. But,
right.
And it was Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, and Mike Tomlin.
That's crazy.
And another little tidbit that young Griffin Nino filled me in on was the team that has the most, the most consecutive running years, like current running years of being over 500 or above, is the Steelers, going back to 2003,
which was his first year as the head coach.
Okay, I was wondering if that
he's never had a losing season.
I knew he hadn't, but I didn't know. But it makes sense. I didn't know if Cowher maybe retired with a winning record and just decided. Like, I didn't know if he inherited any of that.
That's a good point, because maybe it was 2005. I think he's been coaching 19 years, so I think you're right about that. I hadn't even considered that. I'm gonna fact check ourselves right now.
Do it.
Steelers career. How about it? It began in 2007. So
okay,
Bill Cowher had 4 of those.
Yeah, and I think he just retired to he's been in broadcasting since, and Bill Cowher was actually he came from the Chief. I mean, he was originally a Marty guy long ago. Marty Schottenheimer.
Bill Cowher, 1992 to 2006. Damn.
Yeah, and then Chuck Noll before that.
Chuck Noll, 1969 to 1991.
Bruh.
That's a long fucking time right there. Yeah, so 55 years.
Yeah.
55 years, 3 head coaches. That's insane. That's insane.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And, the Chiefs are considered widely as a solid, stable organization.
Mm-hmm. We've had several coaches.
Oh, yeah. We went through some hard times.
Hard
times, baby.
Yeah.
And, I mean, just to think that, like, the Steelers, that's, I don't know. So I guess we should probably start with them.
Yeah, I'll start with the Steelers. We're talking about them plenty. I know mine. It's very easy.
I know yours, too.
Yeah.
Just try not to be exactly the same. I do like yours a lot. I'll let you have the floor then.
All right. Mine's Troy Polamalu.
Oh.
Yeah, surprise.
Yeah.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Surprise.
Yeah, no, it's easy choice. I've loved Troy Polamalu since I was a very young child. I actually went as Troy Polamalu for Halloween one year, just a jersey and a nice long wig.
Yep.
I'd probably actually pull that off now, just straight up.
True. Put a little kink in that hair.
Yeah, exactly. But that's always been my favorite. 43, the jumping over the lineman, which they've now made illegal because it was too dominant. Jumping over the center. You can jump over other parts.
Yeah, he would jump over the center like on
field goals.
Yeah. That is the reason they said, no, we can't do that anymore.
Because of Troy Polamalu.
Love it.
Yeah,
is he USC?
Yes. He was an absolute fucking beast. One of the best safeties of all time, if not for another one in this division. And that's kind of what this division. That's why this division fucking rules to me. Is that all of it's fucking defense. I fucking
Grit,
loved
grit,
it.
baby.
Yeah.
Fucking grit.
Palomalu, man, he was sexy. I loved watching him play. It was wonderful. So
Great hair.
Great hair.
Yeah.
Fantastic hair.
Still getting paid for the hair on Head and Shoulders commercials with our boy, Patty Mahomes.
Patty Ice.
Mm-hmm. Patty Ice. Yeah, great pick.
Yeah, Troy Polamalu has to be it.
I mean, there's a lot of really good. I mean, we're talking. Some of my friends that are older than me would remember some of these players like Joe Green,
Jerome Bettis.
Well, I'm old enough to remember Jerome Bettis, the bus. Jack Lambert, Franco Harris. Do you remember the Immaculate Reception?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That was Franco Harris. The first thing I went. Heinz Ward. You were a big
I loved Heinz Ward. I was a big Steelers fan when I was younger.
I mean, Greg Lloyd. Do you remember Greg Lloyd, 95?
Number 95? No.
Oh, you'd have loved Greg Lloyd. Jerome Bettis is there.
Mm-hmm.
Heath Miller was a tight end.
Yeah, tight end for a long time.
James Ferrier. Do you remember the name James Ferrier?
James Ferrier.
Good. I mean, not that he.
They had long-term defense. Like there were guys who signed with the Steelers and fucking stayed with the Steelers.
Yeah. I mean,
James
Joey Porter was there. James Harrison was a fucking
dog.
What a freak that dude was.
Fucking beast.
Santonio Holmes with that catch
the iconic catch against the Cardinals.
And Roethlisberger. I mean, let's talk about
Deshaun Watson before Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Terry Bradshaw.
Mm-hmm.
He won 3 or 4 back in the way back. John Stallworth. But the player I would go with is another defensive back. His name is Rod Woodson.
Yeah.
But I'm not going with him.
Oh.
I'm switching it up. I'm going with Mike Tomlin. I'm taking the coach
your favorite Steeler ever is Mike
My
Tomlin.
favorite Steeler
like
ever
that.
is fucking Mike Tomlin.
I like that.
I just love that dude. I love him as a leader.
Fantastic.
I love
coach.
him. I mean, he's a motivator.
Mm-hmm.
If you ever hear him speak, he's so deliberate in everything he fucking says.
Mm-hmm.
He's intense. He's passionate. And obviously, he gets the most out of his players.
100%.
Every fucking year, he gets the most out of his players. He's been trotting out. I mean, since Roethlisberger, everybody said, "Oh, he's not going to be able to win without Ben Roethlisberger."
Mm-hmm. Mason Rudolph,
and he's fucking figured it out.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, as a coach, there's like a handful of guys that I think are on the modern day. I mean, the modern day top, the Mount Rushmore. And I mean, I know he hasn't won a lot of Super Bowls, but the dude just wins.
The consistency's there, man.
Yeah.
Harbaugh. It's like
that's another one.
Him
there
and Harbaugh,
yeah. Just love Mike Tomlin. So I'm
and Reed.
I'm gonna switch it up a little bit. I'm going coach on this.
I like that. I like that choice. Polamalu and Tomlin.
Yeah.
For the favorite Steelers of all time. I kind of dig that. We're going to go to what will probably be the hardest one, the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah. There's not a...
I could tell you sooner my least favorite Brown of all time.
The aforementioned
Deshaun Watson.
And for good reason.
100%. At least 24 reasons.
Yeah, it's probably more like...
Yeah, probably every bit of 3 at this point.
3 or 4. Fair. Yeah, that he's number 1 least favorite with a bullet.
Yeah.
You're right, and it's a team that has such great history.
Right. Their best years were fucking decades before I was born.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the one that screams to me is Jim Brown.
Jim Brown, yeah.
But again...
More of a... Like, I appreciate him for his cultural impact more than I do his on-the-field impact. You know?
Sure.
That's mostly what I know him from. Like, the pictures of him and Muhammad Ali and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and all of them at, like, civil rights conventions and stuff. Like, that's how I know Jim Brown.
When predominant athletes, welcomed to that role.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them still do. I shouldn't sound. I don't want it to come off that way. But I mean, he was a monster. I mean, 100%. he was top of his game. A lot of people still consider him the best running back in NFL history.
Yeah, I have no frame of reference for that. I don't think I've ever even seen a fucking highlight of Jim Brown. like in my life.
Which, I mean, is why would you? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. But I'm more justifying why he's not my favorite Brown of all time.
Yeah, me too. I felt like we needed to mention him, though, right?
Oh, 100%. 100%. He was absolutely going to come up. We may, for me...
Man, this is a rough fucking
list. It is a rough list. I think I know mine, but I'm going to throw out another.
Okay.
One guy I really liked when I was younger, a defensive, a linebacker. I don't even know how long he was there. Maybe a couple seasons.
Okay.
His name was Craig Robertson. You know why I liked him.
Yeah, that's outstanding.
Yeah, I was like, this guy. I fuck with you, dog. Josh Cribbs. Liked Josh Cribbs a lot.
Yep, Josh Cribbs. I'm seeing his name on this
Flash
illustrious list.
Josh Gordon, baby.
Josh Gordon, that's true.
There was a great tweet the other day that was like it was a video of Justin Jefferson, and it was a Browns fan tweeting it. It was like, just once, if the Browns could get a receiver like this, it would make all my dreams come true. And someone quote tweeted and said, "You did. He liked weed and cocaine a lot."
And he did. And we've talked about him.
Oh, we have. I loved watching him. Whenever we signed
too.
him and he got suspended, I was really disappointed. Remember, he was supposed to play with Alex Smith for a little bit.
Yeah.
And got suspended 12 games and then never made it.
You could never shake the.
Yeah, I could never shake the stuff.
Yeah.
But I always really, really liked Josh Gordon. I'm trying to think of some more.
I know it's hard.
It's a rough. Brody Croyle probably stopped off with the Browns at some point, huh?
I mean, Baker Mayfield. I don't know that Croyle
Mayfield
did, but I mean, he should have if he didn't.
Feels
Maury
like
Cooper. I mean,
Cooper?
Maury Cooper's
Yeah.
I mean, Clay Matthews. I'm seeing Clay Matthews on a lot of lists. Do you remember Clay Matthews?
Like the senior?
No,
Clay Matthews?
Clay Matthews, the linebacker, Packer. Yeah,
I remember him as a Packer. Has he been on a lot of teams?
Yeah, he was evidently on the Steelers too at some point because he was on. Or maybe he just defaults to every list on Google when I put all-time players.
Yeah, Google is a fucking disaster now because of the AI engine thing they've added. There's almost always some incorrect information.
Baker Mayfield, Ernest Biner, you won't remember him. He was a good. It's going to be so sad, but the guy I'm going to take is simply because of Tecmo Bowl. So there's that.
Oh, that's good.
That's good. That's Myles Garrett is a good football player.
10 seasons with the Packers and his last season with the Rams, by the way. So
that's amazing.
Completely out of the ballpark for the Steelers and Browns.
That is fucking amazing. Yeah, he's right here. Joe Thomas.
That's mine.
Okay. Yeah. That's a great pick.
Mine's Joe Thomas. He played there for so long, and
his whole career there. I'm pretty sure.
No, yeah, he never left, and he was there for some fucking terrible years.
He deserved to win.
He did, man. He was rarely ever injured.
Pick, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. He was rarely ever injured. I think there was some crazy stat that he played like almost every fucking game he was there for, which is insane. Like the absolute.
Oh yeah.
The absolute streak of shit he had to endure.
I mean, he's in the Hall of Fame, and let me help you here because consecutive snaps played.
That's what I'm looking for.
10,363 consecutive snaps. So he was the class of 2023 in the Hall of Fame. He was drafted in 2007. He was the third overall pick.
They said you're going to the fucking Hall as soon as he retired, huh?
Yeah, NFL All-Decade Team in the 2010s. Pro Bowls, he had 10. He played 11 seasons. That's wild.
Yeah, dude.
He's from Wisconsin.
Yeah, Joe Thomas.
He was Rookie of the Year.
Wow.
And no, shit.
Google?
I can't read. No, this is me not being able to read.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Let's just call him Rookie of the Year, though.
Yeah, I agree.
He was all rookie. He was on the all rookie team.
On the all rookie team.
That'd have been so fucking cool if he was Rookie of the Year.
God, a lineman Rookie of the Year would be fucking exciting. No, but yeah, I was an offensive lineman, so I tried my best to keep up with players who were.
Oh, he was so good.
You know, because the Steelers had one of my other favorite offensive linemen ever in Marquise Pouncey. I liked Pouncey a lot, their center.
Yep. Yeah, he was on
the Florida team. With Tebow and Hernandez. But
and the other Pouncey.
Yes, and the other Pouncey. Mark
and Percy Harvin.
They
had some dudes.
Right, Percy Harvin. I haven't thought about him in a long
Vikings
time.
player. Yeah.
So Joe Thomas was definitely my favorite Brown ever.
Fair enough. And that's a respectable pick. That if I were looking for someone that from being a legitimate player, that probably would have been mine too.
Mm-hmm.
Not that this guy's not legitimate, but it's just more like, okay, I loved this dude because of how good he was in Tecmo Bowl.
Right, yeah.
Which, are you familiar with Tecmo Bowl?
Oh, of course.
Okay. Kevin Mack was his name. The other one, close second for the same exact reason, was Eric Metcalf.
Gotcha.
Both electric players on Tecmo Bowl. Nearly unstoppable if you called the correct play.
Right.
And sadly, those are the two that that's it.
That's all, yeah.
I love Joe Thomas. Myles Garrett I like. Nick Chubb is a respectable guy. I just don't give a fuck about any of these guys.
No. Odell Beckham Jr.?
Yeah, don't care.
Jarvis Landry,
great. Good job.
Benjamin Watson.
Good Watson.
Yeah.
No.
All right.
Joe Hayden was a really good defensive.
Joe Hayden. Yeah. I liked Joe Hayden.
I just came across his name. All right, so those are the guys because Tecmo Bowl, and then I'll throw Joe Hayden in there as a
he's like your
an honorable mention,
he's
real
like
player guy.
Your Rod Woodson.
Yeah.
There you go. Right. Okay, then we'll go on to the Bengals.
Okay,
another really not sexy franchise. I guess when we talk about the NFC North, or AFC North, we're really just talking about the Steelers and Ravens.
Yeah, now that we're doing it, right?
Yeah, no, 100%. And
you got a problem with Chad Ochocinco?
No, in fact, he might be my favorite Bengal of all time.
Would it be Chad Ochocinco or Chad Johnson? Which is your favorite?
I knew him as Johnson.
Mama named Johnson? I'm going to call him Johnson.
Yeah, Ochocinco.
TJ Houshmandzadeh?
TJ Houshmandzadeh is great. I was a big Carson Palmer fan.
Yeah,
I liked Carson Palmer a lot. So
USC player there?
Yeah. He might be my favorite Bengal of all time. I haven't really given this one a ton of thought. So it's one I'll have to work through. Vontez Burfict. I know he got in trouble a lot for head-to-head hits.
I loved Burfict. Was he the Arizona State kid?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he was a fucking beast.
I liked Burfict a lot, too. One of my least favorite commentators, Chris Collinsworth.
Ah, man, you don't like Chris Collinsworth, huh?
No, he's not my favorite.
You're not a fan.
He's not my favorite guy.
Yeah,
he was. So that's actually how he got his job. Was he started as a Bengals wide receiver?
Chris Collinsworth.
Yeah, doesn't have a lot of top end speed.
Yeah,
that might as well have been John Gruden right there for me.
He was gritty.
John Gruden.
He snuck into spots.
Anthony Munoz was an offensive lineman for the Bengals. I'm pretty sure I already know who I'm going to go with, though.
Oh, yeah?
It's not Boomer Esiason. But I did enjoy... Dang, Justin Smith played for the Bengals. Do you remember Justin Smith? I think we've talked about him already with the San Francisco 49ers.
Oh, yes.
He was a Mizzou guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a great NFL career. What about Adam Pac-Man Jones?
Adam Pac-Man Jones. Oh,
buddy.
Yeah, I liked me some Adam Pac-Man
Pac-Man,
Jones.
bruh.
Oh, man. Yeah, he was a stud. There's some more modern guys that I actually don't take a lot of issue with.
It's hard. Honestly, it's hard for me not to pick Joe Burrow. Smoking on that Joe Burrow.
Nah, fuck Joe Burrow.
Dude, I like the kid.
Yeah, I don't mind him.
I mean, I know I'm not supposed to.
I principally don't like Cincinnati.
Right. I mean, they're a bunch of...
I feel like I just can't like them.
Well, their fans don't like our team.
Yeah, it's really
their
because
players
of them.
don't either.
Yeah.
AJ but Joe
Green
hasn't done shit. AJ Green.
I like AJ Green a lot.
Did you know Takeo Spikes?
Mm-hmm.
He was a Bengal. Dude, name a guy with a bigger fucking neck.
That guy's neck was fucking massive.
Takeo Spikes.
That's one of the things he's fucking known for.
Dude,
is how big his fucking neck
if his
was.
head was 18 inches around, his neck was 22 inches around.
100%. Big ass.
Shout out
neck.
Takeo Spikes' neck.
Jamar Chase. I like Jamar Chase.
Terrell Owens.
Chase Kaufman.
Chase Kaufman.
That's a good pull.
Now we're on
That's a
Eli Apple. He's that motherfucker that
Eli
talked
Apple.
all that shit.
Eli Apple.
Chase Kaufman's a good one.
Mizzou tight end went and played in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
I mean, T.O. Maybe this is where I finally throw Terrell Owens a bone.
You gonna do that?
I like Terrell Owens, man. I always did.
Ahead of
Carson Palmer is kind of giving me a rough time. I think that
about T. Higgins.
Not a huge T.
About
Higgins
Boyd.
guy.
About Jamar Chase.
No, not particularly.
About Joe Mixon.
I would say Joe Mixon's solid. Joe Mixon's definitely the most compelling. Jeremy Hill. Do you remember Jeremy Hill?
I do not.
LSU back who ended up going to the Bengals, and he was. I think he got in trouble.
They like LSU, huh?
Yeah, he was one of the. I think he got in trouble for like the video, like one of those videos of dudes like randomly knocking people out. You remember that?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I think Jeremy Hill was one of those guys.
He probably should not have done that.
No, probably not. Do you remember that like phenomenon though? Like
I
whenever
do.
people
I
were,
remember it more as it was related, like people just randomly knocking out homeless people, which is even.
Yeah, I didn't know that's the specific there. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying that's what he did.
No,
I knew that was
in general,
a trend
like, of that trend. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that was
it's just
the
a fucking
particular,
despicable.
That's really nasty.
Yeah.
Don't like that.
No. Not much to like.
Not at all. But yeah, so Jeremy Hill's not it. But I did like him when I was younger before all that happened.
Okay.
I was like, oh yeah, that's going to be funny whenever we get to the Ravens. Yeah, no, I think I am going to have to go with Carson Palmer.
Carson Palmer.
I think Carson Palmer is. I did a lot of beating around the bush. I tried to find somebody, but to go back to you saying Tecmo Bowl, I loved playing as the Bengals on Madden when I was younger, and a lot of that is based in uniforms. I love their uniforms.
Oh, man.
And this is always how it was when I was younger playing video games. Is like if I can look as cool as possible, that's fine with me. I don't really give a shit about anything else.
Right.
And the Bengals always had the fucking coolest, helmet, and that's all I was looking for.
Top 5 helmet or logo would be a good
Ooh,
one
that's
for us.
That's a good one.
Because I agree. Like, it was more of a, like, as an adult, I really don't give much of a fuck about the helmet.
Mm-hmm. When I was younger, though, that was
helmet.
fucking sick.
When I was 10 to 12 years old.
It's the coolest shit I've ever seen in my life.
Loved it. And that's why, actually, the Bengals were, for a very short period of time, one of my favorite teams.
Well, principally, that's why I'm like, when I was playing on Madden, I loved playing as the Bengals, and one of the things that came with it is that I was always Carson Palmer. And I really liked Carson Palmer.
He was in the middle of a long line of USC quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
He may have been the start of like he was before Leinart, right?
Leinart.
Yeah,
I think was he there? Oh, Leinart was there with Reggie Bush. He was before that.
Yeah,
because Darnold's out of USC. Now Caleb Williams is out of USC.
Caleb Williams. I mean, there was some around the Carson Palmer era too, though. Like even further back with him and Leinart. And Dan. So my number one takes me back to around 5th.
Mark Sanchez.
That's what we were looking for. The Sanchez boy.
Matt Barkley.
Matt Barkley was a stud. Like
There's
he was
a
lot of them. That, like they ran. Like that was that Pete Carroll era.
Matt Castle.
USC
Cassell. Guy. I think so.
Matt Castle.
The real
Holy
Matt
shit.
Castle. Yeah. What a man. What a man. What a man. But yeah, so yeah, a lot of NFL quarterbacks but yeah, Carson Palmer had to be my choice.
I dig it. Mine is around that time, 5th grade, loved the Bengals. And Boomer Esiason was the quarterback at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But my favorite player at that moment in time, other than Bo Jackson, we gonna get some cold cuts. Icky Woods. Remember? Do you remember the commercial not that long ago where he's celebrating getting cold cuts?
100%.
He's doing so. He did the Icky Shuffle.
The Icky Shuffle. Yeah.
Icky fucking Woods, man. Yeah, and it was short lived. I mean, I think his. I don't know how long his career was. It doesn't matter to me.
No.
for that moment in time, that dude was.
I mean,
it's fucking Icky Woods.
Transcended generations.
Yeah,
because I'm very familiar with the Icky Shuffle.
Yeah.
That's how I'm familiar with him. And the Cold Cuts commercial brought it back. And I think the Cold Cuts commercial only happened because the dance came back around and people started using it as a celebration.
They did, which
you know,
good for people. I do appreciate that about
the history,
the NFL,
yeah,
and all sports. I mean, NBA, they do it too. Like they recognize like some of those signature. Like you see people doing the Dion dance all the time.
Yeah, 100%.
In the end zone now. So yeah, Icky's my guy.
Icky Woods.
What's so funny is I know we're getting ready to move into a really good one.
Storied franchise.
A storied franchise. Started in Indianapolis, actually. The Colts. Let me think back on how that occurred. Because Cleveland, actually, forgive me, it was originally the Baltimore Colts. You knew that, right?
Yes, yeah.
Johnny Unitas and all that shit.
Yeah.
They moved to Indianapolis. The Browns left Cleveland and went to Baltimore and became the Baltimore Ravens.
Gotcha.
We might want to fact check that.
I'll fact check it right now. Let's check it out.
And then the Browns ended up getting their franchise back years later. There was several years where the Cleveland Browns did not exist. God,
maybe we should go back. We need to return.
Well, that's the thing is like
the Baltimore Ravens were established in 1996 after Art Modell, then owner of the Cleveland Browns, announced plans in 1995 to relocate the franchise from Cleveland to Baltimore. As part of a settlement between the league and the city of Cleveland, Modell was required to leave the Browns' history, team, colors, and records in Cleveland for a replacement team and replacement personnel, and that play would resume in 1999. So they didn't exist for about 4 years there.
Okay.
Look at you.
I know. Look at me.
Yeah.
But what's interesting about this whole exercise is I thought AFC North, fuck yeah. And there's really only two teams I give a shit about.
Yeah, 100%. The Steelers
and
Ravens
on one,
are
I
two of
picked
my...
the fucking coach.
Yeah, right. But it's the culture and it's the team that you're more excited about. Because I'm with you there on Pittsburgh, like that, and I'm even more there with you on Baltimore. Like I really like Baltimore, and I've always really liked Baltimore.
Well, that division always plays each other tough, as like today.
Yeah,
look at today.
Yes, the Browns
Ravens
beat the fucking Ravens.
Yeah, the Ravens went into Cleveland, who always plays them.
Yep.
I mean, and that I don't know how much of it has to do with those guys giving a shit about the history, but I feel like they probably do.
To an extent, some of them have to.
Baltimore, where The Wire was filmed.
That's true. That's true.
True,
I should say.
Yeah.
I've always been a big fan of Baltimore, and frankly, right now, if Patrick Mahomes didn't exist, Lamar Jackson would be my favorite quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah,
the dude's a fucking beast, and frankly, should be the front runner for MVP right now. Today might have actually shifted things a bit, but even so.
Yeah, he's going to suffer from the whole we don't vote MVPs back to back in this league. Because the media,
you need a new.
The
story.
media knows everything, right? And they're so qualified,
so plugged in.
Yeah, and they never. So he will not win the MVP.
We're the media now, by the way.
That's right. I don't have any credentials though. When are you going to give me some credentials?
We're already there. Don't worry. I'm working on it.
I need some sort of laminated pass to go on a lanyard.
Yes, a lanyard. Yes, that's
a laminated lanyard is what I'm looking for.
Yeah, a lanyard.
So, Lamar, very much deserving. I think that the media in general is at a point where you need to fucking win, and you need to win a Super Bowl,
right?
Right, wrong, or indifferent. I think those two things are unless he does something undeniable this year,
right?
Which today kind of hurt him a little bit.
Yeah.
He played okay.
No, yeah, he didn't do bad. Their defense fucked them today.
But what's going to happen now is look what Derrick Henry's done this year. So that's going to take away some of the votes for MVP.
That's fair.
But I'm with you. I think Lamar is.
Well,
I missed on Lamar. Lamar fucking coming out of college. I didn't think. Obviously, I should not be a scout. I didn't think it translated. I just didn't.
No, he was a fucking stud at Louisville, and then he came into the league, and he's fucking dominated ever since. That's why
I didn't think he'd hold a candle to Mike Vick.
Yeah,
I didn't.
I think he's
and he's better.
He's
he's
proven
he's You know,
which is insane. You've heard how we've talked about Mike Vick the last couple weeks. But Lamar Jackson's a fucking beast. And if he'd played about 10 years ago, I'd be having a whole other conversation about whether or not he's my favorite. But I can't go with the current player when I like as many of their older players as I do.
You're going Trent Dilfer, aren't you?
Yeah, no. Yep, you got it.
Dilfer dimes over here.
No, I loved their defense, man. And
what's not to love?
Specifically, the year that I'm very extremely nostalgic for is the year they won the Super Bowl. Because the second Super Bowl. Because they won in 2000, the year I was born, and then they won again, I believe, in 2013. I believe that was the case. It might have been 2014, the 2013-14 season.
Okay.
Which was Ray Lewis's last year. It was storybook. He was going out. He announced his retirement at the beginning of the season. They went out and they won a fucking Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Joe Flacco got the MVP that
year.
Joe Flacco. Love Joe Flacco.
Jonathan Ogden. Talking about linemen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yes, indeed. Terrell Suggs. Loved Terrell Suggs. Ed Reed. Ed fucking Reed.
Rod Woodson was on that.
Yes. I mean, and again, Ray Rice, I believe, was on that team.
Shannon Sharp.
Shannon Sharp
finished his career, and
no shit.
I don't know if he was on the team that won. Well, I don't know.
Was he on?
But
the
he was a Raven. He went from the Broncos to the Ravens.
Gotcha. All right.
Started in Denver. Willis McGahee is one of my favorites of all time.
Yeah,
and he was
a beast.
Yeah.
I mean,
Todd Heap. He was doesn't ring a bell. Tight end. Like basically now Mark Andrews is breaking all of Todd Heap's records.
I was trying to remember. Was he like was he the predecessor in that era?
I don't know. Let's find out. He was a tight end for 12 seasons. That sounds about right. Yeah, from 2001 to 2010, so no, that would not be. I mean, he was before him. And then he went to Arizona for a few years.
And I was a year early on both of those Super Bowls, by the way. It was 2001 and 2013. Or I was a year late.
On both?
On one and a year early on the other. 2001 and 2013, not 2014.
Got it. Which was the one where Ray Lewis maybe stabbed a guy?
The earlier one.
That would make sense.
It was earlier in his career.
He was younger.
And with that, I can tell you that my favorite Raven of all time is Ray Lewis. And I know we've talked, No,
hey, look.
What murder? What murder? That's how I feel. That's not exactly how I feel about Ray Lewis. But going back to the way that we've talked about like the top 5 dead or alive wrestlers or anything, and this is kind of funny too because obviously that happened when I was 1. It was kind of a part of his fucking legend by the time I came to love Ray Lewis. But I played linebacker and there was no fucking linebacker alive that was better than Ray Lewis.
Yeah.
And I think there's a chance Ray Lewis is the greatest linebacker that's ever fucking played on a football field.
I don't see how you could. Yeah, you wouldn't get a big argument. Yeah,
you can throw names out there, but ultimately you'd go, yeah, but Ray Lewis is right there with him. It's
no, he was amazing.
Yeah, he was fucking the dance he would do when he was coming onto the field, the shuffle. I fucking loved that. Just. Nostalgically, I was number 52 my 8th grade football year because of Ray Lewis, and I was about 2013, so like it was yeah. I mean, you could Google any fucking all-time best the dance all-time best Ravens or whatever. I mean, he's going to be the first. Hot and so hot and her.
He's also, I mean, he played in college.
The U,
which I have a.
You have a soft spot for them.
It's there for me. Yeah. So I cannot even begin to argue Ray Lewis. Probably for a long time one of my favorite players too. Mm-hmm. Regardless of the murder. And look, he was exonerated of any wrongdoing.
Yes, he was.
I think that was probably a case of he was young. wrong place,
wrong time,
doing shit. It was Super Bowl weekend too.
Yeah. Which is part of what makes it even fucking crazy.
Was that his rookie year?
Yeah. I believe it was.
Yeah.
If not, it was.
I mean, that dude went
after.
on. He went on to have just
an illustrious career.
Yeah. And
Let's
was a fucking great leader.
It was not his rookie year. It would not have been his rookie year. Yeah, no, he'd been.
Every
in the league for a
teammate
few
loved
years
the guy.
Yeah, I mean, he won the Super Bowl MVP that first year. That weekend, he might have stabbed a guy. He won the Super Bowl MVP.
It was the weekend. Oh, he was in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
I think I forgot that part.
Yeah.
I think I had it in my mind he was just partying wherever the fucking Super Bowl was.
He was playing in the fucking Super Bowl.
Dude. One of his dudes fucking stabbed a guy.
Yeah, 100%.
Is how that went down.
2-time NFL Defensive Player of the Year, 7-time first-team All-Pro, 13-time Pro Bowler, 3-time tackles leader, 3-time combined tackles leader, 2000s All-Decade Team, 100th Anniversary All-Time Team, first-team All-American for the U, and, 2-time Super Bowl champion and 1-time Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah.
It's a fucking career.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, great pick. It's an undeniable pick. Mm-hmm. It's an easy pick. I mean,
I had no doubt when I was coming into this.
Yeah. I contemplated a little bit. This wasn't a guy that was on top, in the top 2, but Jamal Lewis. I mean, that's a name that just reminds me of those days. He was a workhorse for them at the running back position.
They've had a lot of guys who just kind of stopped by, fucking Steve Smith.
But I mean, Lewis was like their guy for
17 years. He played for the Ravens from the beginning of his career to the end of his career. 17 seasons he played with the Ravens.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
And then his distant cousin Jamal Lewis, was the running back. I mean, he went round 1, pick 5.
Damn.
In 2000, he was a Tennessee played for Tennessee. Played there for 2000 through 2006, and then Cleveland Browns 2007, 2009. NFL Offensive Player of the Year in 2003. So I mean, that guy kind of jumped to mind. I don't want to spend too much time on Jamal Lewis, but
right.
Ed Reed is mine.
Yeah. I'm glad you're going Ed Reed because it had to be Ray Lewis and Ed Reed.
Yeah. I mean, you don't need to say much about Ed Reed. He's right. Is he the greatest safety of all time? Yeah, when he's the only guy who gave me pause when I said Troy Polamalu is one of them. That when I said that there is somebody later it's Ed Reed. I love watching Tom Brady talk about Ed Reed. Have we done the NFC West yet?
Yes.
Tell me I picked Ronnie Lott for the San Francisco 49ers. Oh, my God, if I did not pick Ronnie Lott.
Am I mistaken? No, we do not have the NFC South left, which is what I said earlier. We have the AFC South and the NFC West. We have not done the NFC West.
Ronnie Lott might be my favorite.
Be your favorite 49er all time.
So there's but Ed, for me, being older, right? You said Polamalu, and then you said Reed. Mm-hmm. For me, it's in that same vein as Ronnie fucking Lott. But we'll get to him. He'll get his flowers.
I mean, there's a few again in the NFC West that come to mind for me.
Cam Chancellor,
Legion of Boom,
fucking
baby.
Cam Chancellor,
and
was a bad
on the
boy.
other side, in that Earl Thomas.
They
were fucking the Legion of Boom. I can't wait.
I might be more excited for the NFC West because then we have the Cardinals.
We got the Cardinals, Niners, Rams, and Seahawks.
Which, by the way, Anquan Bolden played for the Baltimore Ravens.
Yes, he did. Good pull.
Who I love. But Ed Reed.
Actually, now that you mention it, I think I have more players that I can choose from.
NFC West might be the loaded up group. But he was a Super Bowl champion, NFL Defensive Player of the Year in 2004. Oh, gosh. 5-time first-team All-Pro, 3-time second-team All-Pro, 9-time Pro Bowl, 3-time NFL interceptions leader.
Yeah. The way Bill Belichick and Tom Brady talk about him, they gave Tom Brady nightmares. He gave Tom Brady nightmares. Yeah.
And if you've heard him speak about, the way he'd play, he would diagnose plays and
make the quarterback do what he wanted him to do.
He would play a certain way to like, meaning he would move a certain direction and literally turn his whole body
and sprint.
Because I think it may have been the Tom Brady.
It's Peyton Manning.
Oh, it was Peyton Manning.
It's a Peyton Manning play you're talking about,
dude.
Yeah,
because he studied so well, and yes, it is Peyton
faked him
Manning.
one way and then sprinted and caught that interception.
Yes,
yeah.
I mean he was NFL 100th anniversary all-time team. Yeah, I mean Ed Reed.
That's a fantastic.
That might
pull.
be our strongest too, really.
Oh
of
no
any
doubt.
team.
And I knew it would be from the second we concocted this idea. Yeah, like one of the best things that Tom Brady has ever said about him is that like every single play that they were playing, every time he ever played the Ravens, find 20. Every single time, find Ed Reed.
Yeah.
And do not throw over there. Wherever the fuck he is, don't throw it there. You
Not
know,
gonna
like
do it.
unless you absolutely fucking have to, do not throw it there.
How amazing is that?
Yeah,
dude?
like that, and that's why the greatest quarterback of all time saying that makes me go, yeah, Ed Reed's probably the greatest safety ever.
And they played on he and Ray Lewis played on the same defense for the
entirety
bulk
of their careers.
Career.
Yeah, because he got drafted about 8 years into Ray Lewis's career.
God, that's wild.
Yeah, Ray Lewis had been around for a while at that point.
Yeah, that makes sense because Ed Reed's on my
6
helmet.
years, not 8 years. My apologies, but yeah, no, he only played with 2 more teams, and they were in the same season. Texans and Jets. That was where he ended his career.
Yeah.
But he was a Raven for 11 years before that. Yeah. Won the Super Bowl with Ray Lewis and then got out of there.
Dipped.
Yep.
Yeah. That's a solid duo we came up with right there.
Fuck yeah. And that's Divisional Dons for the week.
Divisional Dons.
Got the AFC North knocked out. Now all that we have left is the AFC South and the NFC West, not the NFC South.
I'm going to enjoy the NFC West a lot more than the NFC South.
What sucks, too, is that I had the teams in the NFC West in mind when I was saying NFC South, too. So, like, I wasn't just completely off base.
Right.
I just had the name wrong. But it's time for Top 5, Dead or Alive.
Dead or Alive, live.
So, sitcom, situational comedies.
Situational comms.
Some disqualifications.
Oh?
I just want to make it clear so that everybody knows what a fucking sitcom is. If it aired on television, network television typically is ideal. 22-minute episodes if you watch it on streaming. You get the ads on network TV that get it to that 30-minute time slot. You know what I'm saying? The Bear, not a sitcom.
No.
Barry, not a sitcom. Comedies, yes. Sitcoms, no.
No.
And so that's that. It's a fine line. You kind of know what a sitcom is. You know, not you. I'm talking about the listener.
Yeah,
you know what a sitcom
there may
is.
or may not be a laugh track.
Yeah, there may or may not be a laugh track. Almost certainly does make it a sitcom.
100%.
But it does not have to have a laugh track to be a sitcom.
Correct.
Kind of a square and rectangle situation there.
Correct.
But yeah, let's take it on in. Do you have some honorable mentions you want to throw out beforehand? Because I have plenty. I've watched a lot of sitcoms.
This exercise always surprises me.
Mm-hmm.
This time it surprised me because basically for the past, I'll say 15 years, I haven't watched a ton of sitcoms.
Like new sitcoms.
Correct.
Yeah.
But there's ones in that mix that I really enjoyed.
Right.
And I qualified it if I've watched the entire.
Yeah.
I felt like there's some sitcoms I really like. Modern Family.
Mm-hmm.
I really love Modern Family. I think it's a great sitcom.
Right.
I can't say I've watched every episode of Modern Family.
Gotcha.
So it kind of,
disqualifies
which is
it
kind of,
for you.
I don't know.
No,
I mean,
I'm
I
with
fucking
you on
loved
that.
it. So
There's
why
a
am I
certain completionist aspect to it.
Right.
Like if you loved it enough, you would have finished it because you finished other ones.
Right.
No, and I get that. That's where I was. All of mine I have finished. Mine does exclude ongoing sitcoms for that reason. I like and it's not for that reason expressly. It's just that I haven't garnered the ability to love those shows as much as ones I've been able to watch multiple times. You know what I'm saying? So like a couple of the ongoing ones that I absolutely love that did not make my top 5. Abbott Elementary. Fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
I know you've heard me talk about that.
Yeah.
And probably plenty of other people talk about it. It's so good. Workplace comedy set in an elementary school. It's super cute, super funny. Absolutely love it. What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah.
I
enjoy that.
I love what
I
we do
enjoy
in the
that.
shadows. New season's on right now.
Right. It's been going for a little bit now.
Yep, 5 seasons, 6 seasons now.
Always Sunny.
Always Sunny. Didn't make mine. But it's because I haven't watched enough of it. Every single time I watch it,
But
I
it's
laugh
still going,
my fucking
right?
ass off. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
But like it's got like a ridiculous amount of seasons, so it feels like it's almost like it's
Right. But
that might be the only ongoing sitcom that could have qualified. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I'm still thinking of fucking sitcoms.
Yeah, because Always Sunny, I've never committed because I think it's hilarious. Emily has a tough time with it, and typically when we watch sitcom, like I don't like watching sitcoms by myself. I like watching sitcoms with somebody.
Because you want to laugh.
You want to laugh with
everyone
somebody.
to be laughing.
But that's the thing, though, is Always Sunny. That'll make me laugh no matter who I'm with. So that's why I'm like, maybe I go ahead and give that a shot on my own.
Always Sunny's good.
Oh, it's funny, man. It is so
but
funny.
it didn't make mine either.
Yeah, I just haven't watched. I haven't watched
it.
every episode.
Yeah.
You know. But my 5, I'm extremely confident in. I have some iconic ones that didn't make the cut, which is why I'm not really saying them because I'm pretty confident a couple of them will be in yours.
Okay.
For example, what is the most iconic one that didn't make your list?
Iconic in terms of what everyone else thinks.
Cheers didn't make mine.
Yeah, Cheers did not make mine either. But I'm supposed to love Cheers,
right?
But I never got into Cheers.
Yeah, I watched one season
my
of
bag,
Cheers.
babe.
Yeah, I watched one season of Cheers and I dug it, but I dipped.
Yeah, it's a top show of all time on a lot of lists. Friends
isn't on mine either.
Friends did not make, and I know your mom would be very disappointed.
100%.
I think it's a great show. It's very entertaining, but it's just not.
There's a certain element to it too that's just like of course I love Friends. You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of why I don't include it here. Like
that's true, and that's kind of not fair. But
no, it kind of transcends this category in a way because I do love Friends, and I've watched it. I don't know how many times. There was a point in my life where you could give me a synopsis and I could tell you the name of that episode.
Right.
Right. Like, and part of that is because they were all the one where or the one with or the one that, like
right.
all that stuff. So like, it's kind of easy to pinpoint that. But like, I could do that. And I could probably tell you what fucking season it was in. It was the first sitcom I ever really latched onto. But then it led me into another sitcom, which is my favorite sitcom of all time, and we will get there.
Okay.
But Friends is great, and I love Friends, but the reason I didn't include it is because it's too obvious, which, again, isn't fair, but it is why it's not here.
Yeah, probably pretty close for me, too. I mean, I watched the shit out of Friends. Like, I watched a lot of Friends.
Mm-hmm. I've watched every episode multiple times, which is probably why I'm like, it's a hard one to exclude, but I can't, I couldn't in good conscience. There are other shows that make me laugh a hell of a lot more, which is kind of why I wanted, that's more what I based this list off of. Shows that just make me crack the fuck up
and that's,
in that format.
Yes, and that's fair, which... I know a theme has been, like, for me, like, how, because I'm old, and some of these probably didn't age well.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, for various reasons. Maybe just I remember them more fondly than they were, maybe they weren't worth the shit. But I can tell you who barely missed. There's a few that barely missed.
Are you trying to evaluate whether or not I might have them on my list?
No, I'm literally still trying to figure out what
your 5 is.
Yeah. Who's the Boss is a show. Tony Danza was in it.
Yeah.
Judith Light was in it. Alyssa Milano was in it.
Going back to what makes Friends really, really iconic is that you said Tony Danza, and I immediately went to a Phoebe Buffay joke.
Me closer, Tony Danza. Yeah.
Like that's a Friends joke.
Yeah.
And every time I hear Tony Danza, I think of that fucking joke from Friends. So again, sorry to go back to that, but that's why. Like, it's why it probably should be here, but it's why it's not.
I mean, a lot of it for me too, dude, is there was a certain aesthetic in the 80s that some of the best sitcoms I recall, or maybe just their songs.
Mm-hmm.
Their fucking theme songs were fire.
That's very important. And again, credit to Friends.
I mean, Facts of Life.
Yeah.
But see, Friends, that song was a song already.
Yeah, that's true.
But if you take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the Facts of Life.
Yeah, that's about
the Facts of Life. I mean, there's so many good ones. So Facts of Life, Who's the Boss was a fucking great one. Family Matters with Urkel. I loved Family Matters.
Right. Ah, man, this is tough. Now you've got me questioning my 5 right now.
Oh, don't.
No, because the theme song thing reminded me of another one.
Dude.
And I'm like, oh, God, that probably has to be top 5. And it's, oh, no. What all this means, this fucking sucks. Okay. A new honorable mention. I can't fucking, okay, I'm going to do a 6.
Are you? Are you going to do 6? Because I'll do 6.
I'll do 6.
I've got a 6. I've got a 6th one.
And it'll be like my top. It'll be my top honorable mention. All the other ones were worth mentioning, but they weren't worthy of making the list. This one makes it the toughest. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. I guess. Then I'll do that too.
Like, I don't hold the other ones I have below it on this tier. This tier of sitcoms for me, it might literally consist of 6, and leaving one of them out would hurt me. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. I can get down with that.
Okay. So, top 6, take your picks.
Okay. You go first.
All right. My 6, the one that made it real tough, That 70s Show. Now, you've given me a lot of shit for the title of this for years now. Every time I say That 70s Show, you go, which one? Asshole.
Yeah. Wait, what are you talking about? What 70s Show? The Fall Guy? Which is a fucking great show.
Good movie now.
Damn, great song.
Yeah, also that, yeah. But That 70s Show had a great theme song. Hanging out down the street.
Dude.
I love
right?
it.
Yeah. It takes you back.
But yeah, and it's funny looking at the cast has obviously aged rather badly. But
what a fucking cast!
What a cast it had! Yeah. Topher Grace shockingly ended up being the best one.
And here's the thing: I never watched That 70s Show, but I know like Topher Grace,
Wilmer Valderrama, Ashton Kutcher,
Wilmer
Mila
Valderrama,
Kunis,
yeah,
Laura Prepon. Like it's.
What about Wilmer?
Wilmer,
where's that boy at?
He's doing an NCIS something
so
or
he's,
other.
He's
on network TV. Yeah.
What about Ashton Kutcher and his lady?
They really fell off. Yeah, They haven't been up to anything for a while now.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, no, they did That 70s Show and they kind of fell off the map. You know.
Never heard of them.
No, they're busy being apologists for their other friend.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah. He who shall not be named.
That's right. Won't even speak it.
But, I really, really enjoy. I loved That 70s Show. And it was formative on my youth in a way that, I mean, we've talked previously, like we talked about the, when we did top 10 bands a couple weeks ago. And you were like, if you lived a past life, you lived in that era. And I think That 70s Show is a large large effect
with your
on that.
Jimi Hendrix experience and shit.
Yes, exactly, 100%.
No, that jives. It's funny. I feel like I could have done a top 5 for then and now in a way, or not even now, because like some of these are just more modern.
Right.
You know what I mean? But there's like this whole slew of ones, like I already mentioned. Who's the Boss? Facts of Life. Family Matters.
Right.
I could have done a whole group of them then, and then a later group, but
I've got some pretty contemporary stuff here, which is surprising.
So I have Full House just missed.
Good. Oh fuck yeah, Full House.
Full House, dude.
Yeah.
I mean,
didn't even occur. It wouldn't have made my top 5, but yeah, Full House is fucking
I mean,
great.
it just missed the closest just miss. So I'm going to go 6 now.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, I put in Full House there, but this is just from a nostalgia point of view. I remember one thing I wish we'd have had you guys do more that like my brother and I did is we stayed the night with my grandma and grandpa when we were young a lot.
You might. I remember very fondly staying the night at Grandma and Grandpa's house.
Yeah,
so like maybe it was a little bit more few and far in between. But I remember very, very fondly staying at their house in Odessa.
You did a lot more.
That's
than the
Griffin
two youngers.
Probably did not.
Well,
yeah.
and Q even didn't really a ton. But we would stay with my grandma, my mom's mom, Othel, Gladys Othel Roark, the most wonderful woman ever. And we'd stay on Friday nights for the most part. And my brother and I would just, it was just, she lived in her house wasn't much bigger than this sub-basement.
Right.
It was a tiny house. And you didn't know it at the time. And it didn't fucking matter.
Right.
You know? She had one TV, a couple bedrooms, and we would just entertain ourselves. But one of the things we would do every Friday is we'd watch some shows with her. One of those shows, this isn't it, but it just came to mind, was Hee Haw, which is like a classic fucking... But the other one was Golden Girls.
Oh, yeah.
So Golden Girls is my top, and it probably should be in my top 5, but just because it reminds me of that time, reminds me of my grandma, and has one of the best fucking songs.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for being a friend. Like, fucking great song.
Yeah, Golden Girls.
Like, people in my demographic, everybody, I bet, you could be like, sing that song, and they'll sing every fucking word to it. So yeah, Golden Girls, just because of that. So that's my 6.
All right. So the highest of honorable mentions goes to Golden Girls. in that 70s
and it should be on my top 5. But I'm a dick.
That's how I feel about mine. But then I look at my 5 and I'm like, nah, can't do it. My 5 was already mentioned as something that missed the cut for you, and it was actually the first one you mentioned. Modern Family, easily top 5.
I know,
and that's
have
why
you watched,
I could
you've
not.
seen
bring...
every show.
Yes, I love.
That's the only reason
Family.
it didn't qualify for me. Yeah,
I've watched every single episode.
So good.
We've
dude.
actually
Ed
me and
O'Neill.
Emily have watched it. I just thought of another fucking sitcom. I am so fucked.
Love and marriage, love and I brought up Ed O'Neill, so I don't know if you thought of
no, but I never got a real chance to watch that show. But I'm gonna have to make a tough cut, but that's okay.
Yeah, I thought of Ed O'Neill, and I thought of Married with Children. So man, we really need to be better prepared.
Yeah, we do need to be better prepared. It's my fault that this one didn't even occur to me. It's because it doesn't have a laugh track, by the way. It didn't occur to me because of that. But I am going to commit to Modern Family, and I'm going to cut my 4. That's how
4
I
is
feel.
gone.
That's how I feel about it.
So this one you just thought of is going to jump.
It's going to jump.
4.
Yeah, it's going to jump to 4. But at least I'll figure that out here in a moment.
Oh my word!
But Modern Family was so good, man. Phil Dunphy is probably my favorite TV dad of all time. Fucking love Phil Dunphy.
Amazing.
Ty Burnell or Barnett or
he's so good.
Burrell, I think it might actually be.
It is Burrell.
Fantastic. Yeah. Julie Bowen as Claire, wonderful. Sofia Vergara is so good in that show. Ed O'Neill, like you said, so good in that show.
The kids,
yes,
the kids are amazing.
Sarah Hyland,
and
is
the way they
fucking
grow
fantastic.
up.
Yeah, man, it's wonderful to watch. And Eric Stonestreet and Jesse Tyler Ferguson, and whoa, got a little barking going on upstairs. Sorry, but
yeah, what a cast though.
Oh, absurd, and it feels a little groundbreaking in that department with the queer couple being a part of the leading cast.
Yeah, and I mean they're huge. They play a huge role.
Yeah,
huge roles in it. And they adopt the little girl.
Mm-hmm. She's incredible too. She just graduated high school, actually, like in real life.
That's nuts.
Yeah, no, insane. And Sarah Hyland got married recently, and I think Ty Burrell was there, and like was like honorary father of the bride and stuff. Like they were all there. Like it was cute. Yeah, like they grew up there on that set, like with them as their fake parents, and it's really, really cool. And I love that show. And I actually didn't watch it until within the last couple years. Last year and a half, I think, was when I watched that show for the first time.
Really? Well, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, no, and I'd watched episodes with you and Mom when it was on TV and stuff, but it was the first time me and Emily had gotten to sit down and watch it, and it was just like immediately we were like, oh my God, I fucking love this. Yeah, and frankly, like, the thing about sitcoms that I love so much is I could watch them infinitely. I could these top 5.
Yeah,
I have not watched for the last time.
Right.
And I'm
and
confident
you
in that
haven't.
sentiment. You know, like all of them I will watch again. And that's how I know they're my favorite. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Modern Family is one of those. It had to be amongst them.
That's a good call. I didn't anticipate you possibly having it on there, or maybe I would have left it alone. But
it's all right.
I thought it was worth
a
mentioning
nice
because it's right there.
Pull through. I liked it because it was the first thing you said. So I was like,
yeah. I mean, it was Sofia Vergara's son in that.
Yes, Manny.
Yes, he's so good, and I mean the whole cast is the way they put those guys together. That cast together is pretty impressive.
They have such incredible chemistry. But yeah, it's.
Yeah,
the kid, the Luke, the son.
What a disaster
incredible,
that kid!
Incredible.
Yeah,
I love that kid. But yeah, no, it's one of my favorite things to do with sitcoms is when I finish it, watch the first episode again.
Yeah,
because usually like long running sitcoms, and I did this with That 70 Show, and it's like, holy shit, you know. But Modern Family specifically with the kids, it's just so fucking jarring. Like Luke is a grown man by the end of the show, and he's a fucking 8-year-old at the beginning because that show ran for like 11 seasons or something. Like it's insane. But
Phil Dunphy though,
yeah, Phil's the goat. That's the greatest.
I mean, dude, that dude is
one of my
great.
favorite sequences in that entire show is he's getting sworn in as the godfather to Jay's Ed O'Neill. I can't remember Sofia Vergara's character's name right now.
I can't either.
Damn, that's going to piss me off. I'm actually going to have to look it up before I lose my fucking mind. It is Gloria. Jay and Gloria. Yeah.
Jay and Gloria.
The Pritchetts. Their kid. Phil's getting sworn in as the godfather, and Claire's getting sworn in as the godmother. And throughout the episode, too, the premise of that episode had been that everybody had been having a tough time. His kids had been having a tough time. One of them's getting bullied. The other's dealing with this. The other's dealing with that. And Claire's freaking out, trying to figure out how to help them, trying to figure out how to plan this thing, how to do this, how to do that. And at the end, Phil's like, don't worry, I got it. And she's like, are you sure you've got it? He's like, I've got it. And then as he's getting sworn in as the godfather, the music blares like an organ, and it cuts to like it's an homage to The Godfather. You know, at the end of The Godfather, whenever Al Pacino is carrying out the hits of the heads of the 5 families and stuff, it's him dealing with all the problems. And, a kid wakes up with like a stuffed horse in his bed. It's just a fantastic fucking scene. I love that show, and I love that character. I had to go Modern Family at 5.
That's a solid pick for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Solid pick. Let me see. Yeah. So.
Yeah, you're having a tough time over there.
Yeah, a little bit, but I'm going to go. I'm on number 5, by the way.
Yes, you are number 5.
Really just buying time here.
If you need to buy more time, I can make a clarification about something.
Okay.
The one that I thought of just a second ago.
Okay.
I decided I was not going to plug it into my top 5. I had time to think.
Wow, you had it all the way to 4.
I was
and
ready
maybe
to do
higher.
I was ready to do it, but I've only watched it once. Now, I know that's like, well, you've watched it once. Isn't that enough? The thing is that I've watched these other ones more than once, and every time they still keep me going.
Okay.
So I will give it a special shout-out now. Malcolm in the Middle.
Malcolm in the Middle.
I fucking love Malcolm in the
Yeah,
Middle.
you've mentioned that to me.
I've only watched it once. Bryan Cranston is utterly fucking incredible in it.
I heard he's really good in another show.
Yeah, something or other. Breaking Good.
Something about bad.
But
bad breaking.
It's Walter Black. I don't know.
Yeah.
But he Malcolm in the Middle. That's what I wanted to bring up. I considered plugging it in. I couldn't bring myself to do it when I looked at my list again. So I just wanted to give it that shout.
Okay.
It was an even might have even preceded That 70 Show, even though I watched it that many times. So it's in this tier, but it's not this level yet because I've only watched it once.
Fair.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
now you're 5.
Parks and Rec.
Left it out. I'm glad. I didn't mention it because I knew it would make the cut for you.
You thought you knew it would?
Yes. I was very confident, which is why I didn't bring it up.
I mean, talk about a fucking cast. So,
So,
Amy Poehler, Rashida Jones, Aubrey Plaza, Nick Offerman, Adam Scott, Chris Pratt.
Far and away, the best
Rob Lowe.
branching out
Rob Lowe.
of any cast ever. Any sitcom cast ever. There's
Literally.
never been a more successful sitcom cast.
Literally, Rob Lowe.
Literally.
I mean, what do you fucking say about Parks and Rec? It's if.
Bye, little Sebastian.
Oh my God! There's so many.
Miss you in the saddest fashion.
You know what's fucking so great? This is all you need to know. Is so I'll hear quotes from movies that I will plug into my phone. Just it could be a quote from a movie. It could be anything. It could inspire me. It could make me fucking crack up. Whatever the case may be. And so there's a quote that I put into my phone a long, long time ago. And I didn't end up noting who it was or what it was from.
Yeah.
It was January of 2019.
That's a while ago.
Okay. It was the first time I watched Parks and Rec. Upon the rewatch, I mean, it drove me crazy because I had this quote in my phone.
Yeah.
That again, this was one that wasn't inspiring. It just made me laugh a lot.
Yeah.
And I was like, God, where did that come from? I know it came from a show or a movie.
Yeah.
And what's a not gay way to ask him to go camping with me?
Ron Swanson.
Ron
right there.
fucking Swanson.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you the joy I felt when the second time around.
You heard that?
In July of 2023.
Holy shit.
Because I went in and I have it in my notes. I updated.
Yeah, you were like, I got to document this. Yeah, that's incredible.
But the characters, I mean, Ron Swanson's fucking amazing.
Oh, I mean,
like,
frankly, the only reason it's not here for me,
Aubrey Plaza,
Chris
Pratt
is my favorite. I
Yeah.
love Aubrey Plaza. Again, the only reason this isn't here for me
it's because you knew
I was very confident it would be
I'd
there
have
for
it,
you.
yeah.
And I wanted to spread the love as much as possible, so that was
Appreciate
kind of my
that.
motivation. I got lucky that you didn't include Modern Family. Like, that was one that I was willing to take the risk on.
Yeah.
But Parks and Rec, I fucking love Parks and Rec. And frankly, Chris Pratt, I love him in the MCU and I love him in Guardians of the Galaxy. There's a part of me that wishes he never left this lane.
Because he'll revisit it at times
So
in
funny.
even in real roles that he has now, and he's so good
So
in that
funny.
lane, man.
One of my favorite Parks and Rec quotes, stories, whatever, is Leslie is obviously a workhorse. She goes to work no matter what. One day she's sick, and Ron's sending her home, and Andy, Chris Pratt's character, is filling in for somebody that day. I think April. I think he's filling in for April that day. And he's using the computer, and and she's on her way out as Ron's escorting her out of the office, and he goes, Leslie, I typed your symptoms into the computer, and it looks like you may have network connectivity problems.
Oh my God, dude.
Which was apparently improvised by Chris Pratt, which is hysterical.
Yeah.
Like, he's and that lane is something that I wish he'd never left. He's obviously, like, he's been Garfield and Mario and all sorts of iconic characters now. But I will forever love him as Andy from Parks and Rec.
Yeah. Going back to Ron Swanson. There's just some quotes. I'd wish you the best of luck, but I believe luck is a concept created by the weak to explain their failures. Like, some of the shit he had said is just
his wives.
Dear frozen yogurt, you are the celery of desserts. Be ice cream or be nothing.
Him and Tammy. Tammy 1 and Tammy 2.
Oh my God, dude.
And then his mom's name was also Tammy.
Tammy. It's just, yeah. I mean, if you have not watched Parks and Rec,
you're fucking missing out.
Missing out big time. For
The episode where Leslie and him get locked in the office for a full night, and
Yeah.
by the morning, like, he's playing like the fucking saxophone because he's
what's
what's his code name?
I know. Yeah, he's
Silver. I can't remember. Ron Swanson jazz name.
Yeah, it's like
Duke Silver.
Duke Silver.
Yes.
It's his fucking
Stage name.
Stage name, yeah. And he rocks the shit.
Aziz Ansari.
Aziz, yeah.
Retta. Yeah. Like the cast is unbelievably stacked. So Parks and Rec. I'm glad you brought it up because I needed it to be brought up, and I'm glad it's there.
Booyah, baby.
My 4, the one I could not bring myself to cut from Malcolm in the Middle. Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
I'm really glad that you have Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
I fucking love Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
No, it's good.
There might genuinely not be a sitcom that makes
I know
me
you
laugh
love
harder.
it. I know you love it.
And that's because of Andy Samberg.
Yeah.
I don't know. There might not be a single man alive with a more formative impact on my sense of humor, aside from you, maybe. That is Andy Samberg. Yeah, thank you.
No, he's so fucking funny. Dude.
Oh, he's hilarious. And then him getting to play, he's not Andy Samberg, but like he's doing his brand of comedy, and that's what the entire show's based around.
Yes.
Is him being funny the way Andy Samberg is funny. And he's fucking perfect at it. Stephanie Beatrice as Rosa Diaz, one of my favorite sitcom characters ever. I absolutely love her.
Yeah.
I mean, Raymond Holt, R.I.P. in peace.
R.I.P.
To that actor, Andre Bauer, because he was so fucking good. And even more fascinating is he'd already played a cop in a TV show. And when he was announced as this, there were people who were like afraid he was being typecast. And then he's playing the gay commanding officer, and it's completely opposite what you'd ever expect from him. And he's so fucking good at it. He is so funny, and maybe even including Andy Samberg, probably the best part of that show.
Yeah, it's funny. It's ironic that he does play a gay character because we talk about like with SNL, like you got to have a good quote unquote straight guy, right? That keeps
yes,
he's the deadpan.
Yes, he is.
He's the deadpan guy that keeps it. You know, yeah, his delivery of that character is outstanding,
brilliant. I think he's so fun. I mean, and Joe Lo Truglio, Charles Boyle.
Yeah.
Oh my God, is he fucking hysterical? It's just consistently one of the funniest shows I've ever watched, and the way that it handled its own, not. I mean, it didn't become obsolete by any stretch, but the general public's opinion of police changed while it was on TV. And the way that it evolved with that opinion was really, really interesting. They tried really hard, and I appreciated it. Like, they play with characters in a certain way where if this character would recognize the faults of the police department and they couldn't stand it, they left the police department. Like
right.
Chelsea Peretti. Fucking forgot about Chelsea Peretti. The redheaded chick who's like Raymond Holt's assistant.
Yeah.
Fucking hysterical. Fucking love her. Just so much so that I love so much about that show. I've watched it multiple times now. Brooklyn Nine-Nine had to be here.
What about Terry Crews?
Not a huge Terry Crews guy.
Did he ever make his pecs dance during that show?
Several times.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, that's kind of his whole thing.
I have watched that, never all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
From your recommendation,
right?
And I do really, really enjoy
so funny.
Though,
yeah.
You know, and it's because of Andy Samberg. I mean, mainly because of him and his shenanigans.
Yeah. I mean, and Amy Santiago, I didn't bring her up. His main love interest, like, she's super funny, and she plays her character so perfectly well. Yeah. So like, there's so much to like about the show, and I'm a sucker for a workplace comedy. That's always good.
Get you.
It's a classic place to tell stories.
Might come back around.
Ooh, workplace comedies, huh? I'm sure. But yeah, so my 4 is Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Okay. So my 4 didn't last long. Wasn't like a 10-year running situation. Actually, I believe started long ago. Got picked back up.
Oh, scrapped and then picked back up, huh?
Yeah. I wonder if you have any guesses on that. 5 seasons total.
Yeah, fuck.
It's Arrested Development.
Yeah, it is. Jesus.
You
I didn't think of Arrested Development either.
Oh.
Christ. Yeah, I mean, I'm no longer playing with my list. That would have shaken things up. Yeah, that's
so funny. I mean,
dude, it's incredible.
I mean, the
can-
Bluths, bro. The
I can
Bluths.
observe the same thing as Malcolm in the Middle. I have only watched it once, but if there was an exception to make for that rule, it would have been Arrested Development. Specifically, those first 3 seasons are fucking hysterical.
Oh, they're amazing. I've watched it once, and I've watched it probably we'll say 1.5 times. Yeah, I'll pick it up. And it's because of like the characters like Tobias and Buster, fucking Buster
Bluth.
Buster Bluth. Yeah,
Lucille,
Tobias
man.
Funke.
Yeah.
Fucking Job.
Yes,
Will Arnett. Will Arnett.
So
I mean, we're talking.
funny.
Michael Cera, Will Arnett, Ron Howard is the fucking narrator.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Jessica Walter, R.I.P.
Yes, indeed.
David Cross,
Jason
Tony
Bateman.
Hale, Jason Bateman,
Portia
de Rossi.
Mm-hmm. That's Ellen DeGeneres' wife.
Yeah, she's amazing in that.
Yeah,
Lindsay
she's so
Bluth.
funny.
Is it Alia? Shawcott?
Yes, yeah, I believe it's Alia. Might be Aaliyah, but I'm pretty sure it's Alia.
I mean, fucking Liza Minnelli's in that thing. Henry Winkler. Like,
She's fucking hysterical.
all
in it,
of
by
the
way.
guests. I mean, so many.
Gene Parmesan.
Dude.
That's one of my favorite on-running jokes. Apparently, it was only one episode Gene Parmesan was in, which is insane to think about. The like lawyer who would disguise himself. The PI who would disguise himself, and then Lucille would go fucking nuts for him.
For Gene Parmesan.
Yeah, Gene Parmesan.
Ben Stiller, like so many. Bob Odenkirk is in it. Julia
Louis-Dreyfus is the chick who's faking being blind.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. I mean, Charlize Theron. She has
Theron?
one of those storylines
Yes.
that probably has not aged well.
She did. She did.
Jason Bateman falls in love with her and then realizes she's mentally handicapped.
Yes. Christine Taylor, who's Andy Richter. I mean, Seth Rogen's in it. Like, there's just so many. Jane Lynch.
Yeah.
Yeah. The way it became this fucking cult, almost in a way, following where other legit A-list actors and actresses wanted to be on it. And it's absurd. The entire thing. I mean, Jeffrey Tambor. Like,
yeah.
He's amazing in it.
Incredible.
It's just a fucking...
Well, and just how fucking stupid they all are.
It's Jason Bateman playing... I firmly believe Jason Bateman plays himself in everything
Every single thing he does, yeah.
And that is what Jason Bateman would be like if he was surrounded by fucking imbeciles.
Yes, 100%.
And that's what he does.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, well,
and he's any sane person. He's you surrounded by imbeciles.
Insane people, yeah.
And
that's what's hysterical, too, is that, like, they infect him almost.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Not almost. They definitely infect
him.
Him. Like,
they do.
He cannot bring himself to leave, and he becomes a fucking idiot for it as well.
Codependency.
You know? Like, he's fucking stupid also, but he's smarter than all of them. You know, so they depend on him to save them, and he can't do it. You know, it's fucking incredible. I love that show, and I'm not going to fuck with my list, but if I were going to, it would be 3.
3?
It would jump over my next one.
Okay.
Yes. Just in terms of how funny it is, how hard it makes me laugh, Arrested Development undoubtedly would be in my top 3.
I'm sorry you didn't think of it.
No, it's okay. That's okay. I'm glad you reminded me of it.
So good.
It's so good. But my 3, in the meantime, which would be below Arrested Development in theory, is New Girl.
New Girl's good.
I
know
love
you,
New Girl.
and I've watched enough of that to know it's really good.
Yeah.
Your
And
mom loves it.
It is 100% something mom would love. You know?
Yeah.
There are certain sitcoms that don't care to observe long-form storylines, and I can't blame them one bit. You know, like there's always through lines and stuff. But that's not the idea of some that I have. One of the ones that I have in my top 2, which you will also have in your top 2. It'll be the only place we overlap. Always Sunny doesn't really observe that sort of stuff. Arrested Development doesn't really. They have long-running jokes, but they don't observe a long-running storyline for real. You know, like New Girl. You feel like their life is unfolding in a natural way. Like the situations, while some of them can be absurd, are not so out there that you've never experienced it. It's still really grounded and relatable. Shit that happens in Arrested Development, I've never have.
No,
never
yeah.
will. You know,
Yeah,
you're
like,
not selling houses to the Iraqis. You
right.
know what
We
I'm
didn't
saying?
burn down a
Yes.
ice cream stand.
Yeah, 100%. Well, that was lined with money.
Right.
You know, like, so, a banana stand, by the way.
Banana, that's right.
But, yeah, there's just a personality to it that I fucking adore. Jake Johnson as Nick Miller might be the...
Is he the guy I'm thinking about that was in, like...
Let's Be Cops and
yes.
21 Jump
okay,
Street?
that's...
Yes, yeah,
dude,
that's Jake Johnson.
He's awesome. I love that
I
guy.
aspire to be him. That is a man that I don't know if I want or want to... Okay.
That's a dogfight.
Yeah, that was a dogfight upstairs.
We could try to cut that out.
Yeah. Yeah, Mom's going, no, that's not good. That got intense fast, out of nowhere.
Mainly just them scratching up the hardwood floors up there,
Yeah. Sorry if you heard all that.
Those are some hardwood floors.
Yeah, they
that
really
are
got
ruined now.
after it. But as I was saying, Jake Johnson, a guy I don't know if I want or if I want to be. But yeah, no, he's so funny, and Nick Miller is one of the most sadly relatable characters of all time. Yeah. You know, like, I don't know that I should want to be like Nick Miller, but I feel.
Which one's Nick Miller?
He's Jake Johnson. He's the main guy.
Oh, okay, that's his character.
Yeah,
name.
that is his character.
And
name.
also, there's a Wayans.
Yes, Damon Wayans. Damon Wayans is in it. Damon Wayans Jr.
Junior, yeah.
He is in it for he's a recurring cast member who is main cast for some seasons and isn't for others.
I didn't even realize that. Okay.
Lamorne Morris, who we just saw on Saturday Night. He was the only black guy in the Saturday Night cast.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, he is the actual main cast black guy in New Girl. Yeah, and he's fucking incredible in it. You and Mom watched The Neighborhood. Or The Neighbors.
Yeah.
The main guy in that is a New Girl.
Oh, that's right.
Schmidt.
Schmitty.
Yeah, Schmidt. Yeah,
Schmidt. He plays a different cat in that. Though.
Oh yeah, he's get out of here. You know what the fuck? It's incredible. Nick Miller. Nick. I like him.
I really enjoyed him in that. Actually.
Oh yeah, he's hysterical.
And he plays a very different character in that than he did
in
The Neighbors. Yeah. Well, maybe not. Kind of similar, but.
I want to purchase some crack cocaine.
Crack cocaine.
Cocaine. A white man? No! That's one of my favorites.
Is that the one that Zooey Deschanel? Is that Zooey Deschanel?
She is the titular New Girl. Jessica Day. Yeah. Okay. She's great in it. She's also great. That's what's hysterical. It might be like one of the only sitcoms where the main character is like obviously the weak link.
Oh yeah,
like everybody. And not to say that she's a bad character by any means. It's just that everyone around her is so fucking funny.
But have you heard her sing?
She's great at singing. Yeah, I like her. She actually sings the theme song.
Which
is made for New Girl.
Some may say
hey,
she's
girl, what you doing?
Some may say she's the songbird of her generation.
Some have.
Some may.
Will Ferrell, right?
Yeah, but I don't know what that's from.
That's Step Brothers. You're mixing up Elf and...
Yes, I am, because he made her feel uncomfortable in Elf.
Yeah, he did. But yeah, so I love New Girl, so it had to be top 3 here.
Okay, I dig that. Number 3 for me, this is the one throwback. You know, I was talking about Facts of Life.
Yeah. Who's
the Boss? You know, this, that, and the other.
Martin
was
Living
good.
Single.
Living Single was good, too.
Yeah, they're all good.
Different World was good.
Mm-hmm.
This one, though, it was at a formidable age where they had, like, the entire family dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
There was a cool oldest brother. There was kind of an annoying younger sister who was like, not young, and then there was a, like, kind of a, I want to be like my older brother, younger brother. There's actually an A-list actor who got his start on this sitcom, who does not like it if his girlfriends are over like 22 years old. I think. I don't know if there's a number. I think it's in the 20s though.
Okay.
Leo.
Yeah.
Leonardo got his start
25,
on 25. Is it 25?
Yeah.
Growing Pains.
I did not know that's where he got to start.
Fuck yeah.
Okay.
Yes, he did. And he was brought in seasons. It only lasted 7 seasons. Seemed like it lasted longer for me.
7 seasons is a long show, though.
85 is when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I was 8 when it came out.
Yeah.
Kirk Cameron
mm-hmm.
was Mike Seaver. And he was the coolest fucking...
Yeah.
I mean, he was a good-looking guy. I mean, Alan Thicke.
Yeah, Alan Thicke.
Which his son... Robin.
Yep. He sees these blurred lines.
He does see some blurred lines. Which I love.
Questionably.
Which is amazing. When I mean, you can see the likeness. Alan Thicke, though, was like the dad.
Alan Thicke.
I mean, it was such a fucking great show, dude.
Alan Thicke is actually a very small role and playing himself in one of my top 2, by the way.
Okay, fair enough. Teaser. And I'm looking at the cast here. It looks like at some point Brad Pitt was in this fucking show, too. And Matthew Perry.
Wow.
And Heather Graham. Which, by the way.
Heather Graham.
Fucking Heather Graham.
Heather Graham's great.
We should take a moment of just...
You know what I really
Heather
like
Graham.
Heather Graham in? Twin Peaks.
You know what I really like her in?
What?
Hangover.
Yeah.
So Growing Pains is my 3 for just nostalgia. It had the laugh track. It was classic 80s. When I think of a sitcom of my childhood, I think of Growing Pains.
Mm.
Among others, but that's the one I just loved. I was not going to miss.
There's a couple others that have not come up, and I do not anticipate them coming up now that I think I know your last 2 that I'm interested have never even been mentioned. Saved by the Bell. Weren't you a Saved by the Bell guy?
I was, and you know what's funny is I just thought of one that Michael J. Fox. What was his sitcom around the same time? But yes, so go ahead.
Saved by
the
Bell.
There's
another one that I can't. It might be the Michael J. Fox one you're trying to talk about. Well, Boy Meets World.
I'm glad you bring Boy. That was more of a Jeremy Dickstein one.
Topanga.
He fucking loved Topanga. I was just never impressed with Topanga nor that show. But it was big time. I was more of a Saved by the Bell. That's funny you bring up Saved by the Bell shit. Because Family Ties is the one with Michael J. Fox. It had Justine Bateman,
That's
sister
right.
of aforementioned Jason Bateman. Saved by the Bell was good.
Yeah. Probably wouldn't have made your top 5 though.
No. Screech, Slater, Kelly Kapowski, Jesse Spano, Lisa Turtle.
That's right.
Zach Morris.
For sure.
I knew. And I know their. I think I probably know their fucking real names.
AC Slater. That's the one I know. He actually appears in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Funny.
Mario
Lopez as Mario Lopez, but like the reason he's attractive to Andy Samberg is because he played AC Slater. Yeah, he's like AC Slater's at my birthday party. Like that's kind of the idea there.
So Saved by the Bell, just not to get because Growing Pains was a really good show.
Right.
Saved by the Bell was more of like a, what if we had the production value of Saturday morning cartoons on a live show?
Mm-hmm.
Like it was bad. Like, and you knew what you were watching it was bad. When Jesse Spano fucking is so worried about her grades that she gets on Speed. And that's a real thing, and I appreciate the fact that they're trying to cover that. But just
I mean, a lot of
maybe
sitcoms.
that show should be my top 5.
Yeah, no,
because there's
a lot of situational.
There's some very unintentional comedy that goes on that show.
It's funny watching sitcoms from the early aughts, and specifically like sitcoms that I didn't include, but like Nickelodeon shows when I was younger. Those are technically sitcoms. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they are. And I would put Saved by the Bell in that vein.
Yeah, you know? But like iCarly, Victorious, That's So Raven, all that stuff that I watched when I was younger. Those are all technically sitcoms, but I didn't include any of them. But you're talking about like doing the homework and taking Speed and stuff. Like Full House has an episode.
Which Full House almost got into my top 5.
Yeah, I mean, but like they had the I remember
DJ.
one with DJ where she,
which is Kirk Cameron's sister, Candace Cameron.
That's true. Yeah. where she's trying to lose weight and she stops eating and she does nothing but work out and then she passes out and her dad gets to give her the old
Danny Tanner.
Danny Tanner, Bob Saget,
who by the way was a fucking you never would have known what a great dirty comic he was by that show.
He he gives the old after school special like, Danny, you know that's not the way to go. Or, the DJ, you know that's not the way to go about this. You know, like you got to be healthy and like the after school special stuff of sitcoms is always really, really funny to me. And specifically more in my era, my age coming up, anti-smoking episodes, super fucking funny. And worth your time. Like I remember them now.
Yeah.
I probably only ever watched them fucking once. You know what I'm saying? I remember like there was a kid who was friends with the main character who was sneaking cigarettes, and he was like, "Oh God, is that something I'm supposed to be doing?" And like that sort of stuff. But like the speed and stuff, like that's all that fits into the same vein.
Oh, it's the same. Yeah,
the cautionary tales in the shows.
Yeah. Growing Pains. They had similar episodes. I mean, towards the end, like Mike, Kirk Cameron's character, Mike, moved out of the house into the apartment above their garage, their detached garage, and he was trying to find his way as a young, it's just, I don't know, dude. I loved it.
Right.
I loved that show.
Yeah.
And Leo was introduced later. I don't know what season, but
gotcha. Okay.
And I don't even know what character he played. I feel like he was brought in as like they adopted him or something, or I can't recall it. I just know I love the fucking show.
I can't believe I didn't fucking know that. But all right, so top two. Seinfeld.
2. Okay.
Yeah, Seinfeld is 2 for me. And now this is one that I've only watched once that broke the fucking rule for me that I've watched repeatedly. Yeah. It's just that fucking funny, and it's just that good, and it's just that iconic. Julia Louis-Dreyfus. George Costanza. Can't remember his
Jason Alexander.
Jason Alexander. Thank you. I was like George Costanza. He's forever George Costanza to me.
Yeah. Michael Richards.
Yes, Michael Richards and main guy. Fuck it, I can't remember. Jerry. Yeah. No, I love that whole show. The rivalry between Wayne Newman and Jerry Seinfeld, super fucking funny. Newman.
Seinfeld. So funny.
Yeah. I won't spoil all of it, but there's plenty more conversation to have here. But
I mean, there's so many, and I love that you appreciate that show. But like, there are friends of mine like David Shackelford, aka David Shea, aka the Pony. There's so many times we'll just go into character and like quote, like there'll be quotes from the show.
Oh yeah,
they're endless from Seinfeld.
100%.
The Summer of George. I mean, there was a year that I was laid off, and me and Matt Newig, we called it the Summer of Justin because of the Summer of George.
Because of the Summer of George. Yeah. What's the fake company he works at?
Well, he's into he's import export.
They're import exports. Yeah,
Art Vandelay. He's Art Vandelay Industries.
Vandelay Industries. Yeah. That's right.
But he legit worked for the Yankees for a while.
Yeah.
And the way they portray George Steinbrenner is fucking
never shows
amazing.
His face.
Never. And he's like, oh, and it's just a voice, and
that's
he's acting,
not even really saying anything. He's like,
yeah. He calls the fucking owner of Tyson Chicken, and he trades George to Tyson Chicken. You remember? And there was a time where George fucking figures out that he could sleep under his desk at work.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
And he has a carpenter come in and like build like little shelves like to where he could put an alarm clock, and he's asleep under there, and they're evacuating the building. No, they're not evacuating the building, but George Steinbrenner needs something. He comes into his office, and George is asleep under his desk, but he hears the ticking, and he thinks it's a bomb. And he's like, "Oh, there's a bomb!" You know, and he like, it's just the stupidest shit.
Shrinkage.
It was cold.
It was cold.
And he's talking about how cold it was in the fucking
ugly
hot
baby.
Tub. Look at the baby. Look at the baby. I say, look at the baby. Look at the baby.
Yeah, look at the baby.
That's from that. Look at
yes,
the baby.
it is.
Look at the baby.
But yeah, Julia Louis-Dreyfus is really the fucking highlight for me. Elaine Bennis,
she's amazing.
The dancing,
in it. The dancing.
She's absolutely incredible.
I enjoyed the bisque. When she yada yada sex.
Yes.
And they're like, "Did you just yada yada sex?" No, you yada yada the best part. No, I didn't. I mentioned the bisque.
The bisque.
Because she was like, yeah. So we went, we had the bisque, yada yada. I never heard from him again. They're like, you yada yada the best part.
No. Yeah.
I mentioned the bisque.
Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah, no, I love that show. And it's so, like, the show about nothing, brilliant premise. Larry David is one of the funniest fucking comedy writers ever.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Seinfeld had to be.
And I should take the time to watch Curb. I've started Curb.
I really need to watch Curb. Yeah.
I've started it, watched several episodes, really enjoyed it. It's one of the longest running shows ever.
I think it just actually ended.
Did it really?
They officially
Okay.
ended it, yeah.
I mean, because it's basically George is him.
Yes. Yeah.
Is the way it kind of. It's just
them trying to make the show Jerry within the show Seinfeld.
Yeah, and Kramer.
What's it about?
Nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good. It's good.
The
stuff.
way they're so proud of that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, fantastic show. It had to be top 2, so I've got it at 2.
Two's that's a good spot for it. My 2 is Seinfeld. No,
really?
just kidding.
Okay.
Fuck's
sake, you scared me. I was going to be a little disappointed in you.
Number 2 is The Office.
Yeah.
The American Workplace.
Yeah.
Workplace comedy.
The American version, not the Ricky Gervais version.
It is, because that's what I know.
The upcoming Mexican version also, by the way.
Is that right?
They're making a Mexican version, yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah, apparently so.
I hope that after the election, everybody's okay with that.
Yeah. I sure hope so.
I sure hope that.
I sure hope so, bud.
Yeah. Don't get me on the election, for fuck's sake.
The
Office.
The Office. Steve Carell.
Yeah. I mean,
Michael
Scott.
Michael
Scott.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I don't know what else to say.
No,
like it's right up there in terms of the cast, and like there's plenty of them you didn't know before the show, but it's like, oh my god, they've
branched out
megastar, and they were amazing.
Yeah, John Krasinski is the name.
Krasinski,
the biggest one there. He's now directed several movies and he starred in several movies. He's a big deal.
One of my favorites might be Craig Robinson.
Yes,
like, I loved
100%.
some of the movies he did. You know,
Hot Tub Time Machine.
Superbad, perhaps. No.
Pineapple Express. He's in
Pineapple Express.
Yeah.
Fucking amazing in that.
I synced it.
Yeah.
That's him. Yeah.
But
Steve Carell. Without Steve Carell, he's the beating fucking heart of that show.
It hurt the show for sure.
Oh yeah, I said without Steve Carell, forgetting that there's seasons without Steve Carell.
Yeah. And they survived because of the strength of the ensemble cast.
Yeah, 100%.
You know,
Ed Helms coming on.
Ed Helms, yeah, and he came on before that, and then he kind of inherited the role of being the manager and all that, and but Steve Carell is. I don't know. He might be the best character of any
I say
sitcom.
more word when few word do trick. I love Kevin.
Kevin.
Yeah. I mean,
and the way that your generation, I know we mentioned Friends.
Yeah.
Because your generation has watched Friends, right?
Oh, 100%.
But I
the
remember
Office is a different fucking breed for my generation. Yeah.
I remember being on vacation for a baseball tournament when Q was 13 years old.
We all loved The Office.
All three of you. So that means Nino would have been 6?
Yeah, very young.
You guys, because it rained a lot on that trip.
Yeah.
You guys watched The Office.
Non-stop.
You watched the entirety of The Office on that trip. I feel like you did.
That's 9 fucking seasons. There's no chance.
I feel like you may have. But either way, you guys watched.
We watched a lot of
That's
The
all you
Office,
did was if you weren't out at the pool or on the beach or we were.
The actual reason this isn't an overlapping one for us is that I've watched this one too much, which is funny. I've reached a line where now. I mean, like, this might be the only sitcom that I consider one of my favorites ever that I might never watch all the way through again. Like, I've watched it that many times.
Oh, wow.
And I'm talking like I finished it and I fucking watched it again, like restarted it. When we watched it on vacation, not the first time I watched The Office.
Yeah. what's wonderful too is on Comedy Central, it runs it back to back to back, like in order. In order, yeah. I mean, fucking
Creed,
fucking Creed. What about
Mindy Kaling and BJ Novak?
They're amazing. Yeah, I'm thinking specifically though. Fuck, I'm gonna have to look it up.
Remember when he wants to run the 5K and he knows he has to eat carbs before, so he eats a whole fucking thing of fettuccine Alfredo. Michael Scott.
Yeah, and he gets sick.
He gets a break in his stomach.
And Dwight Schrute is always just fucking ready.
Yes.
He's always down.
What's my perfect crime? That's one of my favorite monologues of his.
So good.
I go to Tiffany's. They suspect me to steal the jewelry. I steal the chandelier. You know?
Yes.
I run into a woman. She knows I stole it. I tell her to meet me in Paris. I don't go to Paris. I go to Germany. That's where I stashed the chandelier. And I'm obviously butchering that. There's a lot more in there.
But that's the idea, though. I'm still going to look because it deserves to be looked at.
I mean, the Beat Farm, Michael Schur, the guy who plays his brother, went on to make A Good Place, which is another great sitcom.
Plays whose brother?
Dwight's brother, the one that the brother that barely pops up, but he gets mentioned a lot. He's one of the co-writers.
Not his cousin. It was his cousin though. Wasn't
it
might
have been his cousin. Yeah.
But yeah, what was his fucking name?
Oh,
damn it! I know. I'm over here looking up all this shit, and So this dude was in. The dude I'm thinking about was on the blacklist.
Oh, Robert California.
Robert California.
Yeah. I mean, Idris Elba had a
Idris
stint.
Elba.
Yeah,
like the way they extended it, and
I'm the fucking Lizard King.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? The way that Robert California just like oozed sex, like that was he was like weirdly sexual all the time.
Dwight's cousin is Mose.
Mose, that's right.
Yeah.
Mose and Jeb.
Yeah.
Jeb's played by Badger, by the way, from Breaking Bad.
Yes, he is.
Back to that.
Yes, he is.
That show's fucking incredible. And it's so funny. Jenna Fisher is wonderful as Pam. Did you hear that she actually just beat breast cancer?
No.
Yeah. That she hadn't revealed that she was battling breast cancer until she was in remission.
Oh wow.
Which is very, very, very cool that she beat it. But,
absolutely. Yeah. She, her and Angela Kinsey, I think, do a podcast.
Yes, they do a podcast about The Office.
Mindy Kaling, like you said, Oscar Nunez.
Mindy Kaling, speaking of, the Mindy Project is a really good sitcom. Hulu, where she works in a medical office.
Yeah.
Fucking incredible.
I've heard it's really good.
Yeah, super funny.
Who's the dude? Who's the HR guy?
Toby.
Fucking
Toby
hates
Flenderson.
Toby. He hates Toby so much.
Toby.
Ryan,
BJ Novak.
Yeah. I don't know. The Office is...
Can't go wrong there. Can't go wrong there.
No.
But let's actually start with your one, because I suspect we have some overlap here.
Yeah, we've already discussed it.
Yeah.
My one is Seinfeld.
Yeah.
And I really considered Office and Seinfeld. Like, oh man, which one do I go with? I mean, it was always Seinfeld.
It was always Seinfeld.
It's funny because there for a long time, because it ran through the 90s, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think I was young to Seinfeld. Like, a lot of my peers at the time
were not into that.
They were not into Seinfeld.
Right.
Like and I don't really know why. I mean, they thought it was stupid. I don't know why. They're just different sense of humors, I guess. But
right. Yeah.
Just I always loved
clicked
it.
With
always loved it. I just thought it was just fucking
the spit episode.
Just nonsense.
Outside the Yankee game.
Yeah. Where they did the magic bullet theory.
Yeah, they do
with the
JFK.
spit. JFK magic bullet. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, yes. So you would lead me to believe it.
Yeah, and they walk through and they have like
Keith Hernandez was the player.
Yes, it was.
And fucking Kramer and
Newman
were talking shit to Keith Hernandez, who played for the Mets at the time.
And they're doing the spoof of the Zapruder film.
Yeah. And they're like, yeah.
And the head falls back and everything. Yeah,
which was right in my lane because I was a big JFK.
Yeah, you were a big JFK guy.
Yeah.
No, it's a fantastic.
So the whole.
So you mean to tell me
that it stopped in midair?
Yeah.
Turned right.
What's the deal?
Yeah.
I'm 38. You're 17. Let's date.
That's a great episode. He did a little of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and Mike Richards went on to do some damaging shit.
There's a not funny meme, but a pretty funny meme. It was promo for Seinfeld when Seinfeld was on, and I do not know what the context is, but it's of Kramer. And it says, "Will he say it?" Like that's what it says. Like that is what the promo said. And I don't know beyond. It's just a picture. It's a still frame. I do not know the context. Yeah. I don't know what they're wondering if he'll say. Yeah. But like now it's funny. Yeah. And like so like whenever like the debate between Kamala and Trump was coming up, someone like posted the picture. Will he say it?
Yeah.
And like Jesus.
Yeah, that was many years after that show ended, and I don't know. Like I think probably my favorite consistent actor or actress from that show is Julia.
100%.
She's great.
She's incredible.
She's great in everything she does.
Veep,
yeah.
Don't think that qualifies as a sitcom.
It does though. I mean,
I think it's a comedy in the same way Barry's a comedy.
Have you ever watched Silicon Valley?
Yeah.
Is that a sitcom?
I've not watched Silicon Valley all the way through. You would be more.
I would call that a sitcom, which is why it was almost on my top 5.
Okay,
but
Veep's tough. That is a tough.
I just eliminated it because it was a HBO. Yeah, I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Then I'm not going to include it. But Silicon Valley's fucking.
Yeah, I mean, Veep might have made mine if I considered it a sitcom. It might have made mine.
She's just an amazing performer.
Oh, brilliant!
It's funny to look back and know that like the first thing I ever saw her in was Christmas Vacation.
Yeah.
Because at the time I just thought she was that annoying neighbor. Not even annoying.
Why is the carpet wet, Todd?
I don't know, Margo.
Yeah,
damn, that's fucking Elaine.
Yeah,
that's Elaine.
A couple years prior to Seinfeld too.
Yeah, but what she's done ever since, and yeah, she's awesome.
Oh, yeah, JLD. Yeah, I love Seinfeld. And I actually really love the ending. It feels like the only way you could have possibly ended that show, which is one of the reasons I fucking love it.
They did it. It's almost the perfect. Like if you don't get it, then you're never you're just not going to get it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And I understand
the
that.
only way that show could have ended is with him and fucking.
That's it. And if you're not a Seinfeld person, I don't know if I can really fuck with you. You know what I mean? Well, I can.
Yeah.
Because there's plenty of people that aren't. But if you are a Seinfeld person,
there's a really good fuck chance with you. I'm probably going to fuck with you. Yeah, I get
and we
that.
have, we are
there's
going
something
to.
there.
Yeah, we're going to vibe because you get it. So yeah. So all right, what's
Seinfeld.
One for you, homie?
One for me is How I Met Your Mother.
What?
Well, you see, I was a very young baby.
Yeah.
I presume. I don't really recall. Yeah. No, but
my
number 1. My number 1 is How I Met Your Mother.
I knew
yeah,
it.
This was. I mentioned Friends earlier as being the first show the first sitcom I ever latched onto, which is in part true. But the reason that I did is because I was really nostalgic for it for a reason I couldn't articulate. I didn't know why I was so familiar with all of it. And it's because I used to watch it with Mom when I was really young. That's why I knew a lot of Friends whenever I started watching Friends. Mom would watch it all the time, and I'd watch it with her. How I Met Your Mother is the first sitcom I watched.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I was like, oh, my God. And I was such a sucker. Like I've always been a hopeless romantic. I love that angle in stories, and that is exactly what the main character and the whole story in the whole show is Ted Mosby trying to find love. and trying as hard as he can, projecting it where it's not supposed to be, trying really fucking hard, and I am a sucker for that. I love that. Like, I'm like, he's trying to find love. That's awesome. And then you got Neil Patrick Harris, who is being just the nastiest fucking dog you've ever seen.
His character in that is fucking really
disgusting.
good. He's
disgusting.
really good at
he's so good at it. He's so good
and
at it. Kobe Smulders as Robin Scherbatsky, and Jason Segel as Marshall.
That's the one I was trying to think of.
Yes.
That dude in I Love You, Man.
He is far and away my favorite member of that cast.
And
forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Yes. Like, yeah, he loved Jason Segel.
Yeah, and this is, and I just mentioned how I really, really love the ending of Seinfeld. I have to really just go ahead and let go on the ending of How I Met Your Mother. The ending of How I Met Your Mother is not good.
No, I know, and I'd never seen it, but I remember you being just like,
I've been
what
flippant on it because the first time I watched it, when I was young, I was an apologist. And I was like, like, that's what they were building towards the whole time, duh.
Yeah.
And then every time I've watched it since, it's gotten worse and fucking worse. I'm like, oh, God, I can't believe they butcher the ending like that. But if I cut it off 2 episodes prior to the actual ending, it's great. And it's like, that pisses me off. You know, like, you undo so much great shit in an hour.
Well, it's almost like the way they ended Game of Thrones.
Exactly. You finished, like, the first 3 episodes of season 8, I'm very passionate about being so fucking good.
Yeah.
And even 5 is really well done. You know, the one where Danny, spoilers, does the thing.
Right. Burns that fucker down.
Yeah, but, like, it's just so much goes to shit there.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel about the end of How I Met Your Mother.
No shit.
And
it's still your one, though.
It's still my one, though. Which is why, I'm more saying just how highly I think of it.
Yeah.
Like, the other night, me and Emily are actually doing a light rewatch right now, like, just kind of throwing it on, and it's one of my favorite shows to just have on. But the other night, I'd eaten an edible, and I was up way too late, and I was fried. I was laying in bed. I just had a huge fucking smile on my face watching How I Met Your Mother. All these jokes I've heard, I don't know how many times before, were making me laugh still.
Yeah.
It was making me smile.
Still hit.
And that's one of those things where I'm like, it's my favorite sitcom. It makes me deeply nostalgic, and I'll forever thank Trenton Moore for putting me on. Showed me an episode.
T-Mo.
He also put me on Game of Thrones. He didn't put me on Game of Thrones, but the first time I watched an episode of Game of Thrones was with Trenton.
I remember that too.
Yeah. So he's been responsible for some of my favorite TV ever.
Yeah,
I feel similarly about Game of Thrones as I do How I Met Your Mother. I might still consider Game of Thrones my favorite television show of all time, even though I do not like the ending.
Yeah, Game of Thrones. I was I think 2 seasons late on that. Somebody at work was like, "Dude, you have to watch this."
Yeah, I was 6. I caught up
because I remember
I caught up between 6 and 7, and then we all watched it as a family between 7 and 8.
Yeah,
with Mom. I guess it was me, you, and Mom. But How I Met Your Mother. I was a little late to the party. I didn't realize it ended like the year I started watching it.
Okay.
Like, I watched it my freshman year of high school. So, like, it was like, it was when I first got into, like, binging TV. It was like, oh, this is formative. And it did nothing to help my hopelessly romantic sensibilities, and probably actually actively hurt some of my pursuits at the time. But regardless, because, it was just like, this is who I feel like is supposed to be the one. And that's, you're 14. That's bullshit.
That's funny.
But it feels real at the time.
It's funny you mentioned that, because it was around the same time I started watching Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Like, my young, Seinfeld resonates with me a lot, like, in high school and then early college.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and every time I've ever been, one. I'm sorry to go to another show. One show I hadn't considered to be a sitcom because it's animated is BoJack Horseman. Really fucking good. Might be a sitcom technically. Bob's Burgers might be a sitcom technically.
They are.
Simpsons
they are considered sitcoms.
Okay.
Yeah.
That might have shaken things up. So we'll call this
but
live
here's the
action
thing.
sitcoms.
Like, I looked at, like, because I just started Googling. I knew my thought, like, what I liked, and I'm like, best sitcoms of all time. I just Googled it, and I mean, those are, because I saw BoJack, and I knew the Simpsons. But you could almost do a different category for, because to me, and I know they're sitcoms, but to me they're cartoons.
Yes.
Which that's not to, and I've never watched any of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, Family Guy.
Yeah,
because
Q, a different category.
Q and I were talking. You know, he was like, "What about Family Guy?" I'm like, "That's like a sitcom." You know, like it, but not. I didn't look at those as what we were doing.
No,
as
yeah,
sitcoms.
I could do an entirely animated one. I could. Like,
Yeah,
I've watched a lot of them.
And me, I don't know, man. If I'm watching a cartoon, I'd rather just watch Scooby Doo or Looney Tunes.
Right.
Like I never got much into King of the Hill.
Yeah,
I never did.
Yeah.
But I mean, fucking Simpsons is the longest running show
Ever.
in the history of history.
Yeah.
I mean,
Narrative show.
Yeah.
Because SNL.
Which says a fucking lot.
I mean, like, and apparently it's caught new life. But regardless, How I Met Your Mother was the first one that I was ever like,
yeah.
Oh, I love TV. I love watching this. So I'm like I said, I'm watching it now again, and it's every bit as good as I remember. It's one of those ones that, even now hasn't aged great.
I mean, you're gonna get that though.
No, 100%. And ironically enough, I think Seinfeld might have aged better, which is bizarre, considering it came before. But
it might.
There's just every once in a while there's a joke where you're like, man, you probably wouldn't tell that one today.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not that not that it wasn't in poor taste then, but it was acceptable then. And it wasn't like a red flag shot up in the room and was like, maybe you shouldn't say that thing. There's a lot of like stuff that could be perceived as transphobic most of the time, which is something that was not really in the concerns of comedy writers in the early aughts.
No.
Or even into the 2010s. But, it's, regardless, though, it still puts a fucking smile on my face. And whenever those jokes come, I'm like, man, whoops.
Yeah.
All right. And they're few and far in between. Doesn't happen a ton, but it happens.
Do you remember Michael Scott, how bad he played basketball?
Yeah.
That makes me happy.
It's pretty good stuff.
So fucking bad.
It's pretty good stuff. I mean, the Office took some big swings too. In that
when you said it didn't age well, I mean, there's a lot of stuff on The Office that, and he'll say like, "Yeah, we couldn't make that today."
Couldn't do that now. I mean, one of the first episodes is when they have like a PR training, or not a HR trainer come in and teach them about racism.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, put these cards on your head and you try to portray who
figure
you
out,
are. Yeah.
The way they shifted his character, not to
Genius.
go back too long on The Office, but like I think that didn't save the show, but it
allowed it to run as long as it did.
It did, because
making him
he
endearing
went from,
instead of a piece of shit.
He went from a dickhead to like just kind of
stupid,
a dumbass, and like you said, endearing. Like, oh, poor
guy.
poor dude.
The dinner they hold at his house with Jan.
Yeah. And he's got that tiny plasma TV in his living room. He breaks it. He gets mad. Yeah. She has a fucking whole room full of candles or whatever it is.
Yeah. No. But so there's similar stuff with How I Met Your Mother, where it was so long running, and it clearly had an idea of what it wanted to do from the beginning, and it stuck to it for some fucking reason. They knew what they wanted to end the show like, but the story naturally didn't progress to that point, and then they just go, well, we already have what our ending is, so we're going to fucking go back to what our ending is. And it doesn't progress naturally. It's like, oh, no!
No shit.
Yeah, like, for everybody to decide on their own, but it's pretty universally disliked.
No shit.
Pretty universally disliked as the ending of that show. Kristen Miliotti's in it, in How I Met Your Mother. I love Kristen Milioti. She's one of my favorites. I don't know what you would have seen her in, though. The Sopranos. She is in The Sopranos for a bit.
Sopranos? I've never heard of that.
Yeah, you're unfamiliar with The Sopranos?
Yeah.
Not a fan?
Never heard. That would be we could probably do a top 5 on like HBO shows.
HBO alone probably could.
They fucking brought the noise the past 30 years.
They do. They still do. They're fucking great.
Yeah, I know.
Penguin on right now. We're covering on Death by Television. Kristen Milioti also in that.
Okay.
So that's sitcoms. let's run it back. Top 5. I've got at 1, How I Met Your Mother. 2, Seinfeld. 3, what would have been Malcolm in the Middle, or what would have been Arrested Development. New Girl. 4, I ended up having
yeah, because you
Brooklyn Nine-Nine,
Yeah.
and at 5, I had Modern Family.
It's a solid list.
It's solid. That's good.
At numero uno, Seinfeld. 2, The Office. 3, Growing Pains, which seems like it doesn't belong here. 4, Arrested Development, and 5, Parks and Rec.
I love it. I love the list. And with that, we will conclude this episode of the Robertsons, and we'll be back. Not next week, probably, actually. Sorry, I'm informing my dad of this just now as well.
What the fuck?
We're going out of town. We're going to Columbia. We're not going to have a Penny Bloom Dispatch next week either. So 2 weeks off, or a week off. We'll be back in 2 weeks.
I don't like that.
I know. I'm sorry. Sorry to break it to you live on the air. You have to stomach that,
This
swallow
isn't
it, and just deal with it.
This isn't good, guys. This isn't good, guys.
But we will be back. We will be getting to another Divisional Dons. We'll have some other fun little segment for you. Maybe that won't be so little like this one wasn't. But, yeah, we got all that. You can head to Twitter, follow at Penny Bloom Pod. You can follow on TikTok now at Penny Bloom Dispatch. I'm making a lot more TikToks over there.
TikTok.
It's a lot of fun.
TikTok.
I'm having a good time doing content creation.
Content.
Trying to branch out. I don't love doing it, but it's
you're
fun.
good at it, son.
I am good at it, and it's fun.
Content.
So, yeah, there's that. You can leave a 5-star rate and review wherever you are listening and download. We will have an episode on the Penguin tomorrow on Death by Television. You got to be there.
Do it.
And the Sentimentalists hits Halloween this week. Have a happy Halloween. We will be dropping a bag o' treats, 5 episodes. We're covering Psycho, the Alfred Hitchcock film. Night of the Living Dead, George Romero. The Exorcist, William Friedkin.
Never heard of it.
Unfamiliar?
Sorry.
The Evil Dead, Sam Raimi. And Halloween, John Carpenter. So I'm very, very excited for that. That's all coming on Halloween on the Sentimentalists. And with that, I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by my father, Justin Robertson. Thank you very much, Pops.
Love you, son.
I love you, too.
Let's do it again in 2 weeks.
Sorry.
Let's do it again in 2 weeks. Fuck.
But yeah, we'll be back then. So come on back in 2 weeks. And remember, peace, love, and bloom. And always praise Seinfeld and How I Met Your Mother.
Seinfeld, baby.